What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Timeless Gamer Show, where our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. It's going to be timeless, and the show is now streaming live in YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Not to whore out the show once again, our official website, timelessgamers.show, and of course, our previous uh, episodes can also be found by going to the YouTube channel of Timeless Gamers Show, and our audio versions, of course, by searching in Timeless Gamers Show by going to your favorite podcast platforms out there. And a very chock full, a very special show for us for this week. We are going to talk about uh, the video games that we can no longer access or play anymore. All right, but before we do that, previously on the Thomas Gamer Show, last time we did it, the last time we spoke about what did we spoke about? Oh, what was it? The Sega indie games.
Yeah.
Okay, particularly chosen by Sir Viraj, of course. If you are a Sega head listening to us, and you haven't watched or seen that particular episode, you know where to go. You know what to do. For this episode, we got Sir Joel.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is Joel Baklit of the Banyaga Native page here again on Timeless Gamer Show. Sad to say I wasn't able to join last week, but I'm here and raring to go talking about the games that are not playable in their original states or in their original capacities anymore. We hope you guys enjoy yourselves in our episode, and I am very much looking forward to our discussion. Back to you, John.
Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And of course, Sir Viraj.
All right. I hope you guys are keeping well. Should be an interesting show. Very prickly subject. Very prickly subject matter. So it'll be interesting to sort of delve into this and see what we can come up with, in terms of a conclusion and, just our thoughts on it. So it'll be interesting to hear everyone else's thoughts on the panel, and as well as you guys listening in the comment section. So it'd be good to see what you guys have to say in terms of what's being discussed here today. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Sir Viraj. And of course, making their debut in the Ramos Gamer Show. Let's start with Sir Michael.
Hey, guys. So this is going to be my first time. Hoping this isn't going to be the last as well. So yeah, just ready for the topics, of course.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Michael. And of course, another one making their Timeless Gamer Show debut. We've already had this. We had this particular person before. This is the first time he's going to make his mug be shown in this show. We got Sir Jason.
Hello, good morning, good evening, guys. I'm Jason of J Zion. Let's enjoy the show.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Jason. And of course, the team captain of the show for tonight, Sir Zay.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. It's going to be an interesting topic talking about the games that we can no longer play. Interesting to see what everyone is going to choose as their game, and we'll just go from here.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Zay. Now, because of the nature of the said episode, we will be skipping the news and show and tell. All right. However, just to make a clarification in regarding with this particular topic, so these are all video games that we can no longer find, download, or play. Okay, so the media is no longer accessible whatsoever due to reasons one way or the other. Okay, if there's still a fan support of it, then that means that it's still alive. These are games that as in like no one can access, like no one can find anymore. Although so it will only exist in the memories of those people who played it or at least heard about it. Okay, so if you have a particular game that you think it's applicable on this episode, then think again. Okay,
Mm,
if it's still playable, not included. If
mm,
you find it or download it, not applicable.
mm.
Alrighty. So just being clear about that. Alrighty. So we will hand it now to Sir Jose. Sir Jose, go on ahead.
All right. So every day it seems like there's more games that are being shut down completely. You can't play. Some games not even lasting a week or two. In the case of Concord for PS5, it came out and just went away just as quick as it was released.
Hmm.
And then we got,
I think it was 2 weeks, right, Jose?
was it 2 weeks?
Yeah. I think it was
Oh
actually for
man.
2 whole weeks or something like that.
And
Or I could be wrong. It could be 2 months, but generally it's a
yeah,
world record. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a good example right there where the game, it is not playable at all. There's no single player mode. It was all multiplayer focused, server dependent. You could put the disc in your PS5 and it's gonna still install it, but as soon as you try to play it, it's just gonna give you an error. So we're here to talk about that, and then we will also cover stuff that has actually come back in an official capacity or in fan supported capacity as well.
Mhm.
So to start it off, my game is just a little game that maybe some of you guys might have played. It came out on the Nintendo Switch, but it was called Rush. It's called Super Mario 35,
Mm.
and it was
Okay.
released for the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Brothers series. And it surprisingly it was a battle royale Super Mario Brothers game where you would compete against well, you would be the 35th. You'd compete against 34 other players starting in World 1-1. And as you progress through and you beat it and you did certain things, you would send enemies to other people's levels. So eventually the levels would become very hectic. And you'd go until I think you could go all the way to 1-4, and then it'd just start repeating, but it'd get crazier and crazier, and you just keep going until there's just the one person left. And I don't remember if they said that it was going to be a limited time thing, but like as soon as the 35th anniversary was over, let's see, it was released October 2020, and its servers were shut down April 1st, 2021. So just a little under a year of life for it.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like a lot of fun. Joe is showing a little bit of footage here right now. For those of you on the video portion of the podcast, you can check it out. But if not, you can YouTube it. It looks like it's a lot of for those of you who are familiar with Super Mario Brothers, the original one. You are going to be playing through the level and battling it out with a lot of other Super Mario's, and looks like a lot of fun. It's just a question of, I guess it's something that they did come out with for their official 35th anniversary celebration, though. Wouldn't you say, Jose?
Yeah. And
Mhm.
it was free to all Nintendo Switch online subscribers, similar to Tetris 99. But I don't know why they wouldn't keep this up.
Mm.
It probably doesn't cost them that much to just have this going. And I was hoping that since in the last direct they announced that now it's the 40th anniversary,
Mhm.
I was like maybe they'll bring it back and they'll change it to 40 people.
Hmm.
But that wasn't the case, and it's still just lost forever. This is still on my Nintendo Switch, but as you click it and you try to start it, and it just gives you an error.
Oh, that's too bad.
So
And which is the crux of the discussion that we have today. It is a game that you liked, that you played, that you enjoyed, but you can't play anymore because the publishers have turned off access to it, or I don't I'm not quite sure if it's the publishers, the developers, or platform itself that turned off access to it. Viraj, you look like you have something to say. It looks like you might have some impressions on the game. Go ahead.
Oh, the game's absolutely shit. But my thought is, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm only kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sure it has its appeal. It just doesn't appeal to me. But I can understand why people do like this game. What I will say though is like obviously this is sort of black magic here. We're talking about for those of us who have modded the Switch and hacked it. You know what you do is I mean, this is a bit of a workaround. There is a way you can still play this. I suspect. So when you use the tinfoil hack, not that I'm promoting doing this, guys.
Yes, disclaimer, we are aware of illegal ways to play games. We do not condone them. We do not endorse them. Continue, Raj.
This is a niche in itself because this hack will only work on if you had like a first year Switch. Now the idea is you change the DNS server and use what's called the tinfoil hack. Anyway, you go into the shops and it will give you a list of all the Nintendo Switch games, even the stuff available on Switch Online. You can just download it to your Switch and play it that way. So I don't think it's forever lost. I think I might be talking out my arse here because I haven't actually looked myself. But now that you've brought this to my attention, I might have to look into it just to fulfill my curiosity. But again, I probably won't because it's not a game that appeals to me. But I think what I'm trying to say is a game like this it's going to leak at some point in the future. It's going to come out there, and it will be available for you to download at some point. I wouldn't say it's lost forever. So those of you who have like some sort of special memory who really like this game, that being said, it's a multiplayer game, isn't it? And it's built around other people playing with you. So I think the hype for it is to the point where you might actually be able to get it, but like you got no one to play with. So what's the point for those things? So I think that's it. So maybe even if I do download it on my tinfoil hack, if I have a tinfoil hack, and I was to do it, would there be anyone to play with? That's another thing. That's all because I'm dependent on people who have hacked their Switch that have this game that happen to be online at the same time playing it. So and that's such a niche within a niche now. So it's a shame because it relies predominantly on multiplayer. I think. This wasn't well. To be fair to Nintendo, they did advertise it being a limited time only product, and they said you can only play it from here to here. That being said, clearly you're in love with this game and would still like to play it, and it is a cop out. And I will say this: Nintendo, when they had that direct showing Mario's 40th anniversary, I was underwhelmed. I was actually quite disappointed, to be honest. But they're doing some things, but not a lot of things, and it's a shame that they celebrated his 35th anniversary with much more love than have his 40th. And when you turn 40, life begins at 40. Like, why have you sort of cut yourself, Nintendo? I'm pushing 40 this year myself, so I'm personally aggrieved. This is how Nintendo want to celebrate their hero's 40th anniversary. But hey, look, it is unfortunate that this is the case. However, I'm sure through the modding community or the hacking community, this will be available in the future. However, you're dependent on people to play with you online. So are you really going to win with this? I don't think so. It was nice. The fact that you enjoyed it for the time it had, that's what you should take from this, I think. But anyway.
All right. Well, now I'm kind of curious about what one of our new guys here in the panel have as an impression of this. Michael, I'm reaching out to you right now. Now that Jose has presented his game and you've had a look at the footage, have you ever tried this? Or if not, what is your impression on how it looks like from what you've seen?
Well, for me, I haven't actually tried this Mario. What's this? Super Mario 35. Because I didn't specifically own a Switch during that time, so I just got it like around a year or two. But seeing as how I was able to play this as a kid, I believe it would be really fun if I was able to if I had a Switch way back then. It would have been really fun. I would have probably brought some of my siblings and even Jason, who's my cousin, to try and play it with me because as kids we were binging this. We were probably playing this for hours, probably days, competing with each other, going one by one and doing everything that we could just to beat the game. So yeah, that's my take on it. But it would be really fun if I was able to play it, especially if you're competing with others. Depending on how competitive you are, it's going to be awesome.
Which is actually quite insightful. The way that Michael is presenting it, he didn't get the chance to play it. Now that he's looking at it, he wants to try it. It's just not available anymore on an official capacity, and that is the biggest issue that of the fact that Jose has presented this. Now that Michael has looked at it, he wants to try it. He just doesn't get the chance. Now, now Michael has mentioned Jason. Jason, what do you think about the game? Have you tried this? If not, do you think you'd want to give it a try?
I want to give it a try,
hmm Is
but
this something that that would appeal to you?
maybe it's fun to play for me. It's
hmm
because
Go ahead.
it's a lot of players to play with.
hmm So it would be something that you'd find a lot of fun because of the fact that it seems like there's a lot of players with the same interests as you
Yes.
who would be playing it. Ah, okay. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense too. All right, and of course, can't leave without the impression of the master himself. Joe, what do you think?
How on earth is he's the master? I don't know why he gets to be called the master here.
Because I'm not including the last part of that word. Anyway.
Oh.
Okay.
I know where
Continue,
this
please
is going.
continue.
Okay.
Okay, so as the main baiter here,
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. See,
Alright.
he has to finish. The
did they ever mention any official statement on why they canceled this, or at least somebody from Reddit heard something, or at least a
Well-
viable rumor why?
Well, no, it did say it was limited for it to play until this day, and that was the terms and condition of the game. So it was actually something to celebrate the birthday.
I would
while-
assume that's the thing, but
No,
So-
Joe's point is it something that is it something purely for the fact that it's just for the celebration, or
Yeah.
was there a reason for them yanking it because of the fact that it's just something that we're doing on a lark and we're just not interested in maintaining it anymore or something like that?
No, they said it was just for the celebration, but there was a lot of us online who thought
Played
maybe
with it.
they would keep it because it was so popular. But I guess that wasn't the case because Nintendo be Nintendo.
Hmm.
Okay, so they just decided, okay, you guys already had a taste, which is basically the same thing that we did like 35 years ago
Hmm.
on the newest platform that we have. Oh, you want to play more? Fuck you then. No.
Oh, and as an aside,
more money.
we would like to acknowledge the audience. We have Retro Vibes here who says, well, actually, before that one, Joy, he says, "You look 30, Viraj." There you
I'll
go.
take
You got
it. I'll take
compliment.
it. Take 30.
It's because he uses a special cream that he gets
I
from
use
his
that-
male friends,
I need this.
and he rubs it all over his
Yeah.
face.
Listen, using cream. Listen, anyone knows this?
Yeah.
Using cream, all right, it makes you younger. I don't care what anyone says. Moisturize.
Yes.
Moisturize. Don't stay too long in the sun because I try not to because that will just dry you all out.
And then,
But moisturize. Obviously, you need to get the vitamin D anyway, so you need to be out in the sun for a bit, but not too much.
and
That's my
and
beauty routine.
take note, Viraj's cream is handmade. Remember that. Anyway, anyway,
Nivea
Retro
Nivea
Vibes
is what I use.
and
Nivea.
Retro Vibes
You're
also
wrong.
says Friday the 13th game shut down the servers last year. Love that game. I still got it and can still play it offline, but no fun playing with bots.
Yes.
That's another game that we can include in the discussion. Friday the 13th. I do remember that one. Never got to play it because I can't play it here at home because the missus and kid get freaked out by horror games. And if I play it by myself at midnight, I get freaked out. Anyway, so
Yeah, I
continue.
get it. I get it.
Mhm. All right, good starter on the discussion, Jose. So, who wants to go next with their dead game and if they enjoyed it and if there are any efforts to revive it? Shall we go
So Viraj
with
can go next.
Viraj then? Viraj,
Me.
yes.
So I'm kind of cheating here because I haven't got a game. It's like a system which had allowed you to get games. So let's
for it.
cast your minds back to the year 1995. And this never came out for us. This was something in Japan only. And it was an add-on to their Famicom system or Super Nintendo as it was called for us here in the West. And that add-on was basically a thing that you on top of put beneath your Super Nintendo or Super Famicom if you're in Japan, and it would then connect to a satellite network, Yes, and you'd also get a cartridge called the BSX. It was called
Oh,
the
okay.
Teleview BSX. That's where we're going with this. Okay. Now, this was amazing. This is like revolutionary for 1995. We're talking games you can download via satellite on your Super Nintendo and play live, very much like Mario Brothers 35 that Jose was talking about.
What was it? Sorry?
Now, this was
What was it?
the Teleview BSX. That's what we're talking about. It's an add-on.
MSX.
The Teleview BSX, that's what we're calling it. And it's an add-on for the Super Nintendo. Now, what made this, I think you're going to get some pictures up here, but what made this a very revolutionary add-on was you could download games, as I mentioned earlier, onto a cartridge and play it. And there'd also be live broadcasts. There's a particular game that a lot of fans will know about. It was called Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets. And it was broadcasted throughout 4 weeks, 4 episodes weekly. And you'd be able to play it, and you could play an episode while there'd be commentary. And then the next week, there'd be another chapter you'd play and download and play live as well. And you'd hear them talking, etc. It'd have commentary and so onward. So these are games that you'd download to your cartridge and you play live, and everyone would have fun. That's how it would be. And it's a shame that that isn't what it was with those games is they weren't backed up. And that's just one example. There were loads of other games. There's BSX Treasure Conflicts. Radical Dreamers was a BSX game by Square. So there was a number of games that were available on this. There it is. There we go. We've got a little video there showing us what the BSX is in a nutshell. And these games you'd only get on like on the memory of the BSX. When the BSX stopped being supported, I think it was like it had like a 4-year, 5-year sort of thing. Run. Obviously, the games that were around, if you had any games for it, it would only be on that BSX cartridge. There's so many games that were deleted and that have been lost in time. So everything that has been curated, like Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets, obviously enough of people must have had that on there. That's been saved to some extent. You got the 4 chapters play via an emulator called BSNES, yeah, and you can play that or whatever. So after 2000, they pulled the plug on the BSX. That's down to the declining user service, and obviously with the invention of internet and broadband internet, that was the future with Dreamcast. But there are a lot of games that are just missing now. They're games that I don't even know about. How about that? There are games I never even knew about, and I still don't know about, that have just been lost forever because those games were not backed up. People obviously deleted the memory on their BSX to have the games that they wanted to do. The ones that probably have been saved are the ones that people were playing, but it doesn't mean that there are games that aren't worth playing just because they were deleted. So there's a lost library of games that were made for this device that just no longer exist. And whilst there are sort of efforts to sort of re-release the game, such as, for example, there's it was called BS Fire Emblem, that had a commercial re-release. But a lot of these are Japan-only titles, and a lot of them were just broadcasted via the temporary broadcast that this thing had, and it's considered lost media now, which is a shame. There have been fan efforts to sort of lead to the preservation of the other games, like emulation, fan-made products like Teleview Plus, and all sorts of enthusiasts looking for the lost titles today. So it's something that's sort of trying to go there. We're trying to go in that direction to try and find these games. But for the moment, a lot of these games are just lost, sadly, and that's a tragedy. Because the Town That Was Stolen, that's a game that I've been playing, and it's a game that isn't fully complete because it's missing that you connect on via the satellite. But there's a lot there. There's a lot there of love that was created and whatever, but we just have no access to it anymore. So that's the sad story of the Teleview BSX. It was a temporary thing. You either had the game on your little cartridge, but if you got access to you've got access to the other games that they created, and there are a lot of these there was an F-Zero that was a BSX. There's a special edition on just for that. Unless you know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to get these games because they haven't been re-released in an official capacity. I think that's a bit sad. It's nice for that to be recognized, and I kind of hope that they do recognize this with Nintendo Switch Online. Like they've recognized the Virtual Boy, and the Virtual Boy was a disgrace. So if they could do that for that, why not for this? So with Switch Online, I'd like to think they could have for the enthusiasts, the expansion pack, they'd want this. They really they give us a handful of BSX titles there, but it is a shame that we can't play them. So that's my thoughts on this particular niche add-on that we never got. It was Japan only, so a lot of people don't even know about this, probably listening. But it would be nice for us to experience these sort of enhanced SNES games that came out during that time.
I'll be the very first to admit this is the first time I've ever heard of this platform
Okay.
and of the games that are available on it. It looks like it's a lot of fun. Of course, it's got the Japanese sensibilities to it. It's got the unique feel of games that only came out. I mean, look at it. It's got
Yeah.
pachinko. It's got pachinko. We're talking like pachinko
Yeah.
is tremendous in Japan, but you can't even imagine it being showing up on any place else except in Japan. So yeah, it looks like it is pretty interesting. It looks like it is a platform that is worth visiting in the future if you ever get access to it. But yeah, it certainly does qualify as a dead platform already and a dead set of games. And hopefully somebody does bring it back, or in one capacity or another. Thoughts, everybody?
There we go.
Okay. Let's hear from Jose. What do you think?
I've actually heard of this, and it's very surprising because Viraj is the only other person I've ever heard mention this. And because like I was obsessed with the Super Nintendo when I was young, and especially when I got access to the internet, I was like, "What's all the stuff that we didn't get?" So I would look stuff up, and I would see this, and I was like, man, that sounds cool. And in a way, it kind of reminded me of, and I don't know if this was just an American thing, but we had Sega Channel.
Yes.
We had it here as well.
Okay. And it kind of reminded me of that. And then you can actually see like the Zelda games. People have made repro carts of them and actually sell them.
Yes, they do.
So are these, my question for Raj is this stuff that you can put on your mini?
Right, that's a good question. 2 years ago, I was actually in the process of having a folder. So we're talking about the Super Nintendo Classic Mini, and for those of you who know me knows that I've modded the hell out of it, right? So I've got all the games running on it in various folders. There is a folder which I haven't highlighted called Satellaview BSX, and there are some games that I've managed to get running. So Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets, you can stitch it together and play them episodically as they were. So that's fine. If you're a Zelda fan, great. There's Radical Dreamers, that runs fine. There's Shockman, whatever that game was that you showed. There's a number of them. That the stuff that you saw on the video here that you might have seen that can generally be emulated and played. But I'm having a problem with BS treasure conflicts, and emulation is an issue with the BSNES emulator. So I thought, if it's not 100%, why am I doing this? Do you understand? Like, if it's not perfect, why am I doing this? So until emulation or I work out a way to run it properly for the limited library that it has, then I'll continue it. But I put because my brother's wedding was happening at the time, I put the pause on it. That's the worst thing I ever did because I've forgotten all that knowledge as to how to do it because it's quite complex getting that running for what it is. It's not just as simple as using SNES 9X 2018 emulator and just putting the ROM in there. No. You need the SF-ROM tool to amend a few things and make sure that it's tinkered a bit so it will work properly. So that's something that I have to learn again, and it's something I have to really, really care about doing. And I do care about it. It's just I've just have other things I want to do, like play some games myself. And when I was doing my stuff, pandemic going on, so having the free time to do it isn't there. But I would like to revisit it and have a look, maybe when I have the time. But you can get some games running, and you can get some games not running. But I do have friends in the modding community that I'll talk with and see if I can find a way around the sort of roadblocks that I have. But I tell you what, man, it is a case of the error. Usually, it's not the computer, it's me. It's me not knowing how to play around with it. And it's a lot of reading, and like these tired old eyes of mine don't have the stamina anymore, But I'll have to try and. That's all psychological. You have to sort of push it aside, and you'll have to really. I'd really have to push myself to actually do it. But to answer your question, yeah, it can in theory be done, but it's a lot of effort.
All right. Now I'm directing this question as a tandem to both Jason and Michael. I know you guys are have almost the same background as I do in terms of gaming. are you guys familiar with the platform that Viraj just presented? Did it ever hit the radar in Pilipinas, if you remember, the same way that I did? I'm completely blanking out on this. Jason, have you ever run across this one?
Mm, this is my first time to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Jason is in the same boat as I am. How about you, Michael? Have you heard of this one?
This is actually the same. I mean, the first time I've heard about it as well, because as a kid, we were more of a Sega household rather
Mhm.
than a Nintendo household.
I like this kid.
So
I like this
There you go.
kid. Good.
we
Good,
had
good,
the
good.
Mega Drive. We didn't have
That's right.
the Famicom. Yeah,
With
we
a
didn't
Mega
have
Drive,
that.
say the right word, not this
And just
general.
because of that, you're hired.
Yeah, we had the Mega Drive. We have there's tons of things that needs to be put on top. I think there's three of them. I forgot what.
Yeah.
They're all at
Saturn.
home. Yeah. Well, the Saturn's a different, very different
Mhm.
thing.
Take a CD and the 32X. That's
Yes,
what it was.
Yeah,
the
the
Tower of
32,
Power.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
those three things. The Sega, the base thing, the Mega Drive, and then the 32 thing.
Mhm.
Those are the things that I have. This is the first time I've heard of this.
Mm.
Well, hopefully, still, it's a good thing. I believe this is the streaming platform of the
Mm.
past.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Mm.
It's awesome, but it's not something that not really that
Familiar with.
not really that familiar with. Yeah.
Hmm. Actually, Jason, I consider is one of my cohorts in the connoisseurs of the obscure. We love games that are not on the mainstream. We have no idea that this has ever existed. But I think Jason and I share the sentiment that yeah, with all the new stuff that we're seeing here right now, we'd love to give
Mm.
it a try. Wouldn't you agree with me, Jason? Would you not like to at least try some of these games that you've seen, Viraj preview?
I love to try this if I
Mm-hmm.
have the chance to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
So Viraj, you're gonna have to teach us how to do it. Okay.
they're good games, and I
Mhm.
think some of them have already been modified to work on just normal SNES emulation, like Radical Dreamers, for example.
Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah, so it
Nice.
doesn't. That was a later release in like I think that came out way later when they So a lot of these games are being re-released. So I think Shockman Zero. There's an official I think retro bit or a company which have actually westernized and localized that Satellaview game. So there are a few of these you can still play. So there are a lot of these, and that plays very much like that's actually a really good game. There's actually a number of these games that are still sort of being repackaged. But yeah, when I find out how to do it, I'll let you know. But
And
I would point in the direction of there are games that have Satellaview games like Radical Dreamers or Shockman Zero that exist out there for you to have a look at and just experience it. Like really, the way you got to look at it is the games feel like aftermarket SNES games. That's the way you got to look at it, and that's what they're like. And the market scene for Sega Mega Drive is huge, right, compared to Super Nintendo because the way it is. But these are games that do exist for Super Nintendo natively, just have to be tweaked a bit to work on Super Nintendo.
okay.
And then along with a lot of the Super Famicom stuff, which should really be translated into English, there's so many hidden gems that were only stayed in Japan. And I think there's like fan localizations and things like that. But it would be nice if they brought them back to the front and they had proper Western localized re-releases. Because one thing I noticed when I was modding the SNES Mini is when I looked at the Super Famicom library and the stuff that they had on that, I got really jealous. I thought, why is it that they had better stuff than we had? And obviously, of course, they did, but why didn't they release it to us? But I don't know. I understand it's to do with publishers, money. Money's the bottom line, and that's the way it is. But it's really cool that we live in an age now where the internet is a thing. That we got the world at our fingertips, and if you really, really want to make an effort, I think you can get anything done. Personally,
Agreed. Completely agreed. And I think Viraj's presentation actually hits on one of the objectives that we have, Joe and I, because the Timeless Gamer Show isn't just about entertainment; it's about education as well. And you, Viraj, have just educated us, me and Joe, on something new that Joe and I might want to try in the future.
Have a
Joe,
look.
would you agree?
Look into it. Yeah, look into it.
Even
Joe, would you agree with this
Casino
one?
might be interested too because there's a Harvest Moon game on it.
Oh, cool. Nice.
You know, he's got his eyes have lit up. You know, it's like, oh, Harvest Moon, it's a simulation game. I think there's so much like on it now. He's probably just looked it up and looked at the library of what's available. There's the Shopman Zero game. That's a lot of fun. That's like plays like Mega Man. It's so cool, and like you can break open a bin and it's like there's so many like Easter eggs in there. Like there's like there's like a little super mini Nintendo. Obviously, this is clearly I wouldn't say a mockery of Mega Man, the story and how it plays, but it's really fun. So, and the language in the localized port, like, yeah, it's a bit.
Now you've given me an idea, Viraj. What if Google, you know how Google Translate is nowadays with a camera, you can flash it on the screen and it'll translate the text right on the screen. What if Google developed some kind of overlay where you can run it on top of an emulator? So imagine translates it around
there
real
is
time
already
Japanese.
It's funny because I was just told about this the other day. There is a software for PC, not on the minis. On PC, you can actually have an overlay that will translate Japanese games you can play. There is a module that does exist. I obviously haven't gotten around to trying it with this. In fact, to be fair, a lot of these games have anyway, so they exist anyway. But you'll discover it as time goes on. But we could talk on for hours about this thing and speculate, but we won't know until we try it ourselves.
That sounds good. Sounds good. Joe, what's your impression?
Looking at this game, Kaizo, Chujin, Shibibin Man Zero.
Shotman Zero.
Looks good. This is an interesting case because this is the first, just like the others. This is the first time I heard of this. To those people who are listening to us, appearance-wise, about this thing that Sir Virg is talking about. So imagine the Sega Mega Drive Tower of Power. Okay, so you got your Super Famicom, the device in there, and then you got the cartridge, of course, sitting on top, and then there's another device there at the bottom. Okay, so to my understanding, so the Satellaview, which is the device below the Super Famicom, it actually gets the signal from
the satellite dish. Another thing
a satellite feed, which kind of like a downloadable.
That's correct. So that's the processing unit that basically takes the buffering, not only the game does it use to download onto the cartridge behind, all that's inside the unit.
So all the games are being saved in that particular cartridge.
That's correct. The Satellaview itself, the bottom unit satellite broadcasting system. Another thing
so basically it's like it serves as a modem, kind of.
Yes, it's a satellite modem, if you want to call it that. But
there you go.
My friend actually has a book about this, and he told me something really interesting. Because one thing he really liked about that. Now, obviously, the SNES had a sound chip, the SPC 700. Sony made it. It was a lovely sound chip. It was a little bit muffled, I felt. But that Satellaview little unit enhanced the sound of whatever the native games were being broadcast into the unit to be more real-like. So you had a nicer sound module within the Satellaview BSX. Whether it's true or not, I'm not too sure, because I said, well, was it the unit that did that, or was that to do with the broadcast of the live stream game that was going on there? I don't know. Because he said, look, apparently, according to this, it's got a really good sound processor in there as well. But we'll never know because we never experienced it, sadly. But that being said, the games like Shotman Zero, when you listen to the sound, it runs off the native chipset of the Super Nintendo. So maybe it was the sound chip was only utilized when they were broadcasting certain things, live stream and onto it, because there were games you'd play live with broadcast. So maybe that's what it worked in tandem or something. But yeah, it was very over-engineered for what it was. Again, we never got it, and it was something that Nintendo worked with a company called Cent Giga. So that was the companies that would run it in tandem. Cent Giga was who you paid a subscription to for the satellite thing, and Nintendo was obviously you bought the hardware from them for the Satellaview thing. But I'm not too familiar with the hardware. I've never seen one in the real world. I've only ever tried to emulate it just for a little bit to enjoy some of the sort of games that were there. But I didn't really know the difference between, like, say, this one's got, there's like, I think there's an R-Type on this as well. And I didn't, or there's like a shmup game, but I couldn't tell the difference because the same game exists on the Super Nintendo. And I was wondering what's the differences between the two. I haven't really looked into it that much to the depth to know what the differences were. If there's one that runs natively on the SNES and one that was on this BS system. So I don't know. And yes, you're quite right in saying aesthetically it is like the Tower of Power. However, it is really the equivalent that Sega had was the Sega Channel, and they had a modem you put behind the Mega Drive Genesis hardware. That was expensive, though. I remember people complaining about how expensive it was to get the games on there, and that in itself was another thing. And saying that those games aren't obscure because those games have been re-released and you can play them on ROM format by in the Japanese Sega Channel, the Toshken service. I think that's what it's called. those have all been dumped on the internet, and you can play those games too. So on the Sega side, yeah, that was a thing. So a classic example of this, and you'll probably laugh at this, Golden Axe 3, that was only available on the Sega channel in America. You couldn't buy it. And the reason for this, right, was Sega of America said, well, it didn't reach our standards. That's why we don't want to release it in our country. And then the people were like, well, hang about. You don't want to release that, but you released all these other crap games, but you wanted that one so you didn't want to have a Golden Axe 3 for a release officially. And another one was Alien Soldier. That was only available through Sega Channel. And that's an amazing game for Mega Drive. But again, wasn't available. But you can now. It is a lot more available. The Sega stuff is a lot more accessible. It's just a shame that the Satellaview stuff, not so much. But maybe that will change in time. And I think with Nintendo being what they are and awareness being what it is, I think there is a huge hacking community out there that will bring this to the forefront. That's how I found out about it when I started playing around with the Mini. And if I can find it, so can you. You know, you can look at it. The internet there, it has all the resources to have a look.
Yeah, that's how I found it. Like I said, when I was junior high, when I got a computer and I was downloading ROMs left and right, and I was finding all these ROMs for this, and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "What's all this BS stuff before it?"
Yes,
and I was like,
"No, it is BS, isn't it?" I mean, it was probably seen as BS, which is why I'm not releasing it. But that's funny how that is. Like when you're a kid and you learn what emulation is, and you always look at the ROMs that you had or the games you have and how they play. Then you look at things that your friend had and how they play. Then you look at some obscure games like Target Earth. What's this? And it sounds like a science fiction game. You download and you think, oh gosh, okay, this is what this is. And it's really fun looking at things that you never had, even going to another country or exclusives that they had. And that's what I want to see what that is like. Let's try it. And then you think, where can I play this? Where is it available? When you become a collector and you start earning some money, and you think, okay, I want to buy some things. I want to have like a Sega collection, or I want to have a Nintendo collection. Where can I get this stuff? And then it breaks your heart when you find out the real truth, which is what this thing is, the horrible truth, the ugly truth. And I think for me, it was a case of I wish I was old enough to earn money to support Sega Dreamcast, and now it's not around anymore. I have to find all these games around there and pre-owned or whatever. But you know, when you're around, then you think maybe I could have supported it. But you're looking retrospectively when you're a kid, this stuff was out. How amazing was that, though? This was a satellite broadcasting. This was DLC before DLC was even thought of, and it was on Satellaview BSX, and Nintendo did it first. But you know, we'll just see what happens going forward. But I think this is really interesting. A good bit of history as well that they thought of this way ahead, and saying that Sega did with Sega Channel as well. That's DLC too, in another sense. But it's really interesting how they pioneered. That was right at the edge. And this is 16-bit era stuff here. You expect it. This internet downloads and DLC was something expected going into 2000s, and even then they weren't ready. I think it was only until the 6th generation was online gaming really a thing, and we're talking the 4th generation here, which I think is absolutely marvelous, personally.
All right, now I want to give the floor to our new panelists here, to our guests, and who wants to go first? Jason, Michael, which one of you wants to present your dead game of the past that you've given a shot to, and you might want to see if it has any efforts to being revived? And whoever wants to go first.
Maybe Michael first.
I think
Michael first. Okay.
Wow. I was actually
all
about
right.
to
Your
pull
cousin just threw you under the bus, Michael. Okay, there you go.
I was actually about to pull and told him. I was
Mhm.
All right. Well, anyway, the game that I was actually thinking about, it's not on the same level that you're giving out to me. So I'm not
That's
really
fine.
sure
That's
if it's the
perfectly
same thing.
fine. That's
It's not
perfectly fine.
competition. It's not
Yeah,
competition.
it's not a competition.
Thinking about it,
Mhm.
seeing what you have,
Mhm.
the game that I was thinking of, and something that I played way back in the past, about when was it? I don't really remember. I think this was 15 years ago. It's a massive action game.
Massive
"Oh,
action game.
Mag for the PS3."
Oh, on the
Right, you
PS3,
remember,
Mag.
right?
Yeah,
The
there you go. Yeah.
PS3, right? I think it ran for about 5 years or 3 years. I don't really remember. It was a good time because it's basically, what was it? PUBG.
Yes.
Before it was PUBG before PUBG
Yes.
or anything.
PUBG before
That's
PUBG. Yes.
yeah.
That's
It's
true. That's true.
I think there's around 250 people playing at the same time, 120 people on one side, 120 on the other, and it's basically everything all at once. You've got utter chaos on the full map. It's
Mhm.
everything that you want to happen. You've got people defending, you've got people attacking, you've got. It's really, yeah, that is one of the best. Yeah, that's basically it. You've got everything that you need all over the place, and it's a really big map. You are basically able to do everything that you want to do. You've
Mhm.
got your own roles, other people. You've got other people who will be able to um, gather at your back, and you've got if you want to play alone, of course, you've got to go gung ho on yourself and just
Mhm.
go to the front lines. It's one of the best series or the best games that I was able to play during the on the PS3. That's for me.
Very cool, very cool. I'm looking at the footage right now. Actually, I kept seeing it on the shelves. I never got the chance to play it because of the fact that I wasn't very good at first-person shooters. So the era of Call of Duty, Battlefield,
Mhm.
Modern Warfare, stuff like that, I was never any good at it. The only time that I was really good at it was way back in the day when Rainbow Six Rogue Spear was a thing, and that was
Mm.
way long ago. So my reflexes have degraded since then. But looking at this right now, it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like something that I definitely would have enjoyed. You play roles here, right, Michael? You got snipers, you got heavy duty shooters, you got. Are you limited to the roles that you get to play, or do you get to switch up?
You know what? I don't actually really remember any of it
Hmm.
at this time anymore
Hmm.
since it's been what 15 years. There's so many
15
games
years.
that I have played, but
That's true.
yeah, I believe that you will be able to pick one of the roles
Hmm.
before you even respawn. It's like
Oh.
what's that called? A loadout
Oh yes, there you go. Nice, very
or
cool. And you do remember playing this on network on PS3. I do remember it was being sold as such as a multiplayer shooter on the PlayStation 3. Do you remember it playing smoothly though? Lags and stuff like that? No.
with the internet in the Philippines during that
Mm.
time, we
Hmm.
were at 5 megabits per second, so
Ah.
it's
Mhm.
slow. It's
Yeah.
slow, but it's enjoyable.
Mm.
So we got the best for the lowest cost that we were able to get. So I used to play this on internet cafes
Oh,
outside
okay.
of home. So it's
Hmm.
got a faster internet service. Um, that's where I was actually able to enjoy it for at least an hour or two. But
Hmm.
back at home, let's just let's
Hmm.
just face it. Let's just play some single player games at home with
Agreed.
that kind of
Yeah.
internet service.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah, but cyber cafes back in the Philippines, way back when, was the place to go. That was when
True.
where I was playing Rainbow Six Rogue Spear, and cyber cafes were basically the gathering places back in the day in the Philippines, where if you wanted to play multiplayer games, you would play there, and afterwards, if everybody got angry, you would beat each other up in the back alley. But yeah, it happened.
True.
So yeah, Michael can attest to this one. So everybody, what do you think about this one, Jose? It looks like you had some experience with this.
Yeah, I actually did. I played a little bit of this back on the PS3. It was fun, and that was like the hook of the game was that how Michael was saying is that there was like 200 plus people playing at once um, on a huge map. It sucks that it's no longer available. It would be cool if they could bring it back in some capacity. I just I don't know. It was like one of those things of the time, but it'd be fun for everyone to be able to try it now. But
Hmm. Yeah, I do remember games like Rainbow Six Rogue Spear having a max of about 6 to 10 players per team, 250 at a time in one large map. That sounds like absolute chaos and tons of fun. Wouldn't you say, Michael?
Yeah, it's ton of fun. You've got everything that at your arsenal. It's what's that? What's the thing that COD Battlefields? It's basically Call of Duty or Battlefield
Hmm.
that's being played way back 15 years ago.
Okay.
This is
Before it
probably
was a thing.
the old model of for COD.
Okay. Viraj, I know you're not really big on first-person shooters like me, but would something like this be interesting to you?
No, I like first person
Oh,
shooters.
you
You know,
do? Okay, I
I've been
thought you were more of a platformer guy.
I'm a bit of I like both, to be honest. I
Oh,
like
okay.
action. I like a bit of action. I
There's a
started
top
playing.
and a bottom. No?
Well, I
Yeah, there you go.
No.
every direction, man. I've played from every
played
direction,
Doom.
from the back, the
This is
front,
happened to him.
the side. You're getting assassinated. Assassinated.
Okay,
Right.
fine.
Look. I mean, I think this is it's sad for me to say this sort of thing, but this game is, again, it thrives with the amount of people wanting to play it. How many players are playing this now? I think if you want to make an FPS game now in this day and age, it had better be bloody good. Look at the competition it's got now.
True,
Like,
true,
you know,
true.
you got Battlefield people, you got people playing Warzone, yeah. You got like back in my day, like I remember it was like Doom, Quake, and Counter Strike.
Oh yeah, Unreal
Yeah.
Tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, UT, like that was it. But then they didn't stay relevant enough, and obviously there was another game series that came out, and really, COD is like the goat now, and it's become the best. Yeah, and Fortnite as well. Like that's dominating. Like, and that's been around for years. And I think the reason with Fortnite and while all these other, you got obviously Halo, you got so many of them. The reason they win is because they've got their own unique X factor that differentiates them from the rest. The reason I think with Fortnite, you got a game that changes its face all the time. The map changes. They add franchise characters and skins you can buy. If you want to, when new Superman film comes out, you can play as that. You can play as this skin or that skin. So there's
Heck,
always,
I think they had Sabrina Carpenter in it or something like that.
yeah,
They do.
even all these celebrities get their in there. You know, so Fortnite, that's how that stays relevant. That's why. That's
Honestly, I thought Sabrina Carpenter was some kind of granddaughter to Karen Carpenter or something like that. But you know, no, anyway, continue.
Carpenters, the original Carpenters were legendary as far as
Yes,
I'm
agreed.
concerned.
Karen Carpenter was.
It's a tragedy what happened to her. But anyway, that's another
Agreed.
story. But yeah, there's so many, like, not just Call of Duty, you've got Star Wars Battlefront there, you've got Far Cry. I mean, how can it, like, this game, as good as it is, and it does look wonderful, how could it compete with all of that? Like in 2014, that's when all these other games started to sort of, these other franchises, and they're competing for the players. That's who they're competing for. These games can only be successful with how many people can play. And when players migrate from one game to another, and that's what I'm speculating here, that's very well what might have happened. And if there aren't people playing this game, like, why keep the servers online? Why keep the tap on? You know, and that's what's happened with, like, if I wanted to go and play Quake 3 Arena now, I'm like, who's going to be online for me to play with? Who's playing it in 2025? I think there will probably be a following, maybe, but you know, come on, guys. Like, a lot of people have sadly moved on, and this is just a victim. It is a victim. These online games that are dependent on user bases, they will struggle to stay relevant. You know, that's it. It's as simple as that. Unless it's really good and there's enough money being pumped in, enough money being generated. Fortnite doesn't make the money on the game. It makes the money on all these skins that people buy. It's free. And that's why it's money. It's a clever business model. And if you're going to spend the money on the game expecting the player to buy it, it's a different thing. So it's a different world now that we live in now than then. I think when this game was stopped being discontinued, I think it was a victim of competition of other games. But I think if it was to even continue to be able to compete with the competition, I still think it would have struggled with the likes of games like Fortnite, taking a lot of that user base away. And I know there's some people listening thinking Fortnite sucks and whatever, you know. But yeah, there are a lot of people who don't like Fortnite, and I get it. But there's always Warzone and so many other greats that are out there. COD is really the one. COD is the one that a lot of people go for. Retro Vibes in the comment section. I'll play Quake with you, Viraj.
There you go. And if anybody wants to go a round of Unreal Tournament 2004, hit me up. I'm always down for UT 2004.
What's John Man 10 said? It said something.
All right.
I don't know.
John Ben 10 says, I don't know if it's PUBG or Arma or something else. When Battle Royale came out, when you die, you have to wait a long time to rejoin, like 1 hour or more. Some players just find another server to join in. Yep, that's also very true, because the lobbies get so busy that players just aren't able to cycle through it as fast as they can. So they leave and they try something else. That's very relevant, John. That's true. All right, and of course, can't leave the game without without Joe pitching in. What do you think, Joe? Would something like this be up your alley, or is this something that you wouldn't even touch?
No,
I'm
you
touching
would.
myself.
Eh,
Okay. First of all,
Classified in the finals.
um,
Anyway.
so am I right to assume they never release a physical game of this? This is just
No,
online
no,
on the
no, no.
PS.
They
No, there's
they
a
did they
physical.
did come with a disc of Mag on PS3. It was
However,
on shelves. Yeah.
if I find a copy now and I pop that in my PS3,
Mm.
nothing.
No, nada. Mm-mm. It's not gonna work
Why?
Servers are down, bro.
because yeah. Because
Oh,
it
so you need
contract.
so you still need an online
Yes.
access to it.
Mhm.
That's bullshit. Okay,
What?
not even offline mode.
Nope.
There's no
Wait.
Not
offline
even
mode.
offline
I'm not
mode.
sure. Michael, does it have bots? No.
There's no. I don't think there's bots.
No.
There's no
Then what the
offline
hell's
mode,
the
I
point of
believe.
having a CD? Okay, fine. All right. So another thing. So how is this any different from all of the first-person shooters out there?
Mm.
How is this remotely fun?
Michael
Mm.
and Jose.
Can't you just see how fun it is? I mean, look at it. Look how beautiful it looks, man.
No. I mean, no. Like you guys mentioned.
I know
Hello?
you. Look, this ain't no turn-based RPG shit. Yeah, this is an action.
Yeah, there you go.
No, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. No. Fuck that. Out of out of all of the first-person shooters out there, how is this any different?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well,
Look at it.
No, all of them are. But what makes it different?
No. It's
the hook for this one back then was that you had the 250
yes. That's it. That's basically
250 people playing at once
Mhm.
on the huge
There you
map.
go.
You had all the guns, you had all the vehicles, you could do basically whatever you wanted to fight against the other team. That was this hook. So
Now, see,
You know-
say that.
We already said it, you deaf idiot. I mean, you had a huge number of people you could play with, and you had a huge map to run around in.
Mhm.
You could do so much with that. I mean, you got an imagination. You could work it out. You know what I mean? It's quite obvious. And look how pretty it looks. Look at the smoke. Look at that look like a gunship. Look at this. Look, he's got a grenade. He's going to throw it. You got proximity mines there. You got it all. This is a beautiful game, and it's a tragedy that you can't play anymore. I actually want to play this game, but I can't anymore. I'm actually pissed off now that you showed me.
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Michael,
Raj,
you just
Raj
pissed
is
Raj
mad
off.
that he cannot be in a
He's
room
saying a lot
with
of shit right
250
now.
guys.
With 250.
Yeah, I want to guys. It's 250. Yeah.
No.
You
my
blew your heart out. You know.
Okay. I had my share of playing Counter Strike. I had my share of playing
Counter-Strike.
Halo.
Oh, yeah.
I
that's
had
another
my
good one.
share playing Call of
Losing
Duty. I had
Counter-Strike.
my
You
share
got
playing
shot.
Black.
You know
Okay.
you died in all them games.
I had my share playing Medal of Honor, and I'm like, okay,
Men of dishonor.
fine, sure. You got all of the guns. Oh, you got all of the weapons. Oh, you got all of the vehicles. Yada yada yada.
Mhm.
All right, fine. So,
It's a tragedy.
Okay.
It's a tragedy. It's very sad. Hopefully they'll bring it back in some capacity. Hopefully, but I don't think they will. Sadly.
Yeah. Well, I think Joe's contention is the fact that he's played different shooters already. He wants to know what makes it unique. And Jose put it
Mm.
plainly, 250 people. I mean, there's a lot of people that you might encounter once or twice throughout the game, but it looks like there's a unique factor of there's another new guy that I want to gank, or I want to shoot through the head, or there's another person that over there who's camping. I'm gonna take him out, something like that. So
okay, one more question. Was there any lag at all? 250 people shooting at each other. Is there any lag?
Well, Michael did say that there was a lot of lag with the speed of the internet that they had back then. But Jose, did you get to try it with the level of speed that we had back here in the US?
Yeah, I honestly didn't have no problems playing it. I never saw any lag or anything.
Okay, all right. So it was very.
He wants lag, like his turn-based RPG. I've got time to think, lag, make a decision because my brain's running so slow. Oh, I'll shoot this guy, and before he's done it,
although Joe and I are on the same page on that one. We like our tactical movements. Anyway, so we have reached the middle of the show. It looks like it might be a good time to put in a good word for our friends and partners. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's hear from Streamyard and BitMap.
All right, let's do it.
Start Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. All right. Thank you for
All
that,
right.
StreamYard and BitMap Books.
Yes, and
Alrighty. So who?
we got a message here from Eric
Oh,
Wahlberg. Where are my homies at? How do I skip ads? You can skip ads, Eric, by sending
a
your
rare Pokemon
$100
just
a
showed up.
month here to the Timeless Gamer Show. We will gladly skip our ads for you.
Yeah.
Hi, Eric.
All right. So yes, I guess it's up to me now. We are going to be delving into my choice of dead game for the episode. Okay. So, there have been a lot. There have been a lot of games that have died in the past, and honestly, large platforms as well. I have to agree with Viraj on this one. Certain platforms have kicked the bucket along the way. Some of them, I personally have enjoyed. Platforms like the Symbian OS, which is the operating system for Nokia cell phones. There were a lot of games there that basically are unplayable now because it doesn't exist. Or if you're for you to want to play it, you have to reach out and find ways to run emulators on your computer. Another platform that died in the past is Flash games. If you guys have ever played all those old Flash games on places like Neutral Grounds or things like that, on random places on the internet, Flash games as a platform have died as a general thing. So there have been a lot of games in the past that have died, and sad to say, they are not playable in their original form anymore. You have to go through a lot of hoops for you to play all of these old games. But the game that I want to delve into for this episode is the game that kicked the modern era of fighting against this kind of injustice. Uh, that is happening right now. It is called The Crew Calling All Units. It is a racing game that is set in the United States, northern part of the United States, and it is an almost one-to-one map of the entirety of the United States of America. If you've ever played a game in the past called Test Drive Unlimited, it had a map of Oahu, and you could drive almost on a one-to-one of Oahu in Test Drive Unlimited. This one, The Crew Calling All Units, has a map of the entire United States. You can drive through almost all of the United States, all 50 states, and visit all of the landmarks of the United States. If you go to where Mount Rushmore is, you can actually go to see Mount Rushmore. If you want to drive to New York City, you can see the Statue of Liberty. If you want to drive to San Francisco, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge. Uh, at its very core, it's a racing game with a plot. You've got a main character called Alex, whose brother got shot. His brother was the leader of a gang of street racers, and he got shot by a guy who wanted to take over that street racing gang, and he got framed for it. He got tossed into jail, and now he's out of jail and is out on a mission of vengeance to try to avenge his brother and take back control of the street gang. It's Some people would say that it's a common plot. Some people would say that it is something that a lot of other racing action movies have already done. And of course, I would agree with them, but this one somehow does give you a reason to play through the game. uh, in this case, though, the Crew Calling All Units, the main selling point was the fact that you could drive and compete all over the United States. And I got to discover this late in the game because I heard about it when they were shutting it down. And they announced to everybody, you past a certain point of the in this calendar, you will not be able to play this game anymore. And that hit me hard because I do remember buying this game. Did just didn't get to play it, but I had it in my library sitting there for me to want to play it when I wanted to play it. But when Ubisoft decided, once the servers are shut down, the game that you bought is not going to be playable anymore. It struck me to the core. And I played through it, I enjoyed it. And once I finished it, I said to myself, why is it that this developer, Ubisoft, can arbitrarily yank access to something that I bought with my own money? And this game is something that is not something that I will be playing. I'll be able to play anymore. I felt like I owned it, but Ubisoft is saying to me, no, fuck you. You don't own anything. You just licensed it, and it hurt me. And apparently, it hurt a lot of people.
You will not own anything, and you will be happy about it.
Joe is saying that it's saying is precisely what a lot of gamers thought. The fact that you think you own it, no, fuck you, you don't. And in this case, it kicked off an entire movement called the Stop Killing Games Initiative in the UK. Viraj might have heard about this one because it's in his neck of the woods. But the Stop Killing Games Initiative has a petition where they are gathering, I think, 100,000 signatures, and they are going to present it to Parliament to make sure that developers will at least facilitate that gamers will have a way for them to be able to play a game that has stopped getting support from the developer or the publisher, because of the fact that they shelled out their hard-earned money for a product, not an experience. And it's gained ground, and I think it's going to be presented to Parliament sometime very soon. And it's also kind of kicked off a law in California, in Jose's neck of the woods as well, where if a digital storefront sells you something, they have to label it as you are buying a license to it. You do not own the product. It is something very important as a distinction because of the fact that a lot of gamers, if you buy something, especially in physical format, you are of the mindset that you are buying a game. You are buying something to own, something to put on your shelf, something that belongs to you. In this instance, this travesty has to stop because of the fact that you are being tricked into thinking that you own something, but you actually don't. And gamers have to have that explained to them in a way that they are not being deceived into thinking you are actually buying a product. You are buying an experience. And in this case, the crew is the biggest thing that actually kicked off the movement of stop killing games. And at the core of our modern battle as gamers, to try to have something for ourselves as a product. It's not an experience. Sure, it's also an experience. Sure, it's also something that you share with people. But first and foremost, they sold you something, and they have to be clear that they are selling you a product, something that you own, not something that you just experience momentarily. Technically, it's a 3 hour moment of prostitution. You have to know you're buying a 3 hour short time worth. But if you're buying an actual product, at least have the ability to own that product or play with it even after the developers have stopped supporting it, which the crew have done nowadays. Nowadays, there's a modern movement for the crew calling all units to be able to be played on single player. A community has actually gone out of its way to try to emulate the server, and it's successful. I'm able to play this game again offline.
Mm.
Thank goodness for this community. The Crew Unlimited, it's called now. But yes, this is the game that I'm presenting to everybody. We can also talk about Farmville, which was tremendous back in the day on Facebook. Every guy and his brother were playing Farmville back then, and that died as well. But this modern game, the crew calling all units, is at the heart and forefront of this battle for ownership of your game. And of course, this is considered dead officially, but fan mods are bringing it back, and I am very very happy to say that it is brought back. So, of those of you who are at all into racing games, those of you who are at all into the idea of owning a game that you actually shelled out hard-earned money for, this is something that you have to look into. This is something that you have to support. You guys might want to give it a try. It's a lot of fun. There's a good story to it. It's got tons of great cars that you can modify, lots of different parts and specs that you can put on street, off-road, stock, things like that. It's all there. Honestly, it's a tremendous game, but the movement behind it is much more important, in my personal opinion, because this one strikes at the heart of, do you own something, or is just an experience to you? Now, I'm tossing the question to the panel. um Jose, as show captain, what are you thinking about the game that I presented and the situation that it is in right now?
Um, well, I played the crew when it first came out, and it was fun. It was really fun, and the map was huge.
Mm,
It literally takes 40 plus minutes to drive from one coast to the other.
mhm,
Um, and I remember I played a little bit of the first expansion, the Wild Run,
oh yeah,
where they added a lot of different vehicle types.
yes.
And then I didn't play it like for like a long time. I think I just got like just I started playing other stuff, and I heard like all of a sudden out of nowhere it's like you can't play it no more, and I was like, what?
Hmm.
Like, because it was always one of those games that I was like, I'm gonna go back to because I want to finish it.
Yes.
And it sucks that there's literally no way to play it at all. Until now, when the fans had to step in and be like, we're gonna do this thing where you can play it. You don't need to deal with any of the other dumb stuff. But I'm pretty sure it's PC only, though, right?
Oh, for right now, it is still PC only because of the fact that that modification that they have, the Crew Unlimited, only runs on PC, and it accesses your Steam library, your Steam game, or I think if I remember correctly, your Ubisoft game, and it emulates the server so that it
Mhm.
calls internally, and you don't it doesn't reach out to the official Ubisoft server, which doesn't exist anymore. It's reaching out to something that doesn't exist. The True Unlimited's client will allow you to reach out to something that does exist within your own PC, and it tricks the game into thinking, oh, we're still good, we're gonna go. So yeah. All right, so yeah, Viraj, your neck of the woods, it's happening straight in the UK. What do you
Yep.
think?
Well, a lot of people are peeved, and there's a lot of people that are angry, and quite rightfully so. I just want to say quickly, my thoughts on the game is it's very
Yes,
good.
go
Very
ahead.
good game, beautiful game. I like it, and it does sadden me that I won't be able to play anymore via console. If I wanted to
Mhm.
play this game, I can't. And PC, I suppose that's the beauty of having a PC. There's a lot more you can configure and do in terms of the mod community, and the fact that they're keeping it alive is a blessing. So you really do win with PC. But that being said, it's a shame that this is a console game, and it's a shame that the console people have been shafted. To put it bluntly, they've been really let down by Ubisoft. Ubisoft have a lot to answer for, and I think they've lost a lot of respect from a lot of people who used to support them. And I think it's really sad. It's not just Ubisoft. I think this is a really big threat in the gaming community about actually owning the game, buying physical. And that's across every format. They're all got issues in regards to that. Like, do you own the game? I think it's not so much owning physical. Like, even if you buy digitally, you should expect the game to always be supported. You should expect them to actually keep the servers alive, keep it going.
No.
But I think people, I don't know, like with the UK, like the people in the UK, they're very, I don't know. It's a case of that they'll vote with their wallets, like anywhere. I mean, we see this problem happening now with Nintendo Switch, where Nintendo promised that with the Switch 2, they keep everything physical, and that's a half lie. It's just like, yes, they themselves have kept their games physical, which is true. But the third parties, they've offered them a way out by creating a game card key. Now, whilst a game on a game card key will work while the console is live and being supported, it's still being supported. Who's to say that Nintendo won't pull the plug 10, 15 years from now? So if I want to play Sonic Shadow Generations again, and I've deleted it from my memory on my Switch 2, and I put that game in there, it's not available anymore because they're not supporting it, and that's a tragedy if I want to play it. So they need to make assurances to begin with. If they're going to do this, fine. They want to save money on the memory, but they need to assure the player, and this is the players at the end of the day, really I feel for. They should say, okay, we will guarantee that this game will be supported for this length of time. So at least people know what they're buying into at least. It's like with the Mario Brothers 35. But at the same time, I suppose they're also gambling that on the fact that in 15, realistically, would I in 15 years' time really want to go and play that game again? It's more unlikely, if anything. So I get that as well. But that's Nintendo on one side. But even if you look at like the PlayStation side of things and Microsoft, you are literally just buying an installations disc half the time, or half of it is the game's half on the disc and half of it's on the system. So you are investing in them, and you're hoping that they will safeguard your game and look after it, even if you have to delete it and you can re-download it because you've paid for it. You've paid good money for this stuff. And video games, whilst they may be cheaper now than they have been, in my view, you're still paying a lot of money anyway. Your hard-earned money is going on this thing. And it's a billion-dollar industry. It's not just you. More and more people are playing games collectively. They're getting more and more money overall. They can afford to keep it online, and they should. But I just want to end this very quickly by just saying, this is why, and there is a cause in why people have gone back to retro gaming, because they know they'll always physically own it. And there's a lot of people looking forward, and also looking back, thinking, well, I missed out on this game, and I want to own it and collect it. And why not collect? And there is a boom in retro gaming here in the UK. I mean, as those of you know in the comment section, even here, I'm a video game retro reseller, so I do sell physical. And I know that that person who's going to buy that game is going to own it for as long as he wants to own it. That will be their piece of whatever they want. If they want to collect, Final Fantasy VII again, they can have it forever, for all time on that disc, providing it doesn't rot. I mean, the fact of the matter is, anything built by man will break. It's only a matter of time. So it's forever, really forever. Forever as long as I'm going to live for. I think that's what people are going to say. So I think we need to keep games. We need to preserve games. And there is a movement here. And we want to be able to access that information regardless. But let us know terms and conditions, guys. Don't just pull the plug like Ubisoft did randomly with this game, because that is so ethically wrong. And I really feel for Jose, because he's paid good money for this game. And now he's not going to be able to play it again because Ubisoft are like this. And what does that do? He's going to vote with his wallet, and he's going to be like, will I ever buy a Ubisoft game ever again? So these people are going to get punished for it. Sega got punished recently with the whole game card key thing, and they've had to do a U-turn. So when Sonic Crossworld Racing comes out on Switch 2, that physical version will be fully physical, which I'm glad that they're done. They learned from their mistake and realized we're going to make physical games on Switch 2. We're going to do that because people voted with their wallets with the game card keys, and they're all struggling, and they realize we'll pay for the extra memory. But that being said, Nintendo need to make memory sizes that aren't just 64 gig, maybe a bit small for games that don't require it. That's just my thoughts on the Nintendo side of things, because Nintendo have really been out in the spotlight, which is why I'm mentioning that. But yeah, game card keys should be erased, or they should have terms and conditions attached to them, and they should have and they do have a lower price point. So that's my thoughts on that. Anyway,
All right. Now, let's reach out to one of our guest panelists, Michael. What's your opinion on it? I know in Pinas, it's in we're Filipinos. We grew up in the basic idea of the same background. Michael, Jason, Joe, we kind of grew up with the very concept of cartridges, of games that you buy in big boxes. Michael, what do you think about this movement right now of stop killing games and my game particularly, The Crew? Your impression on it? Is this something that you'd like to give it a try? And would the concept of not owning the game that you bought be affecting you on a personal level?
Well, for me, actually, the crew is one of the games that I was able to own in Steam
Nice.
way back. However, it's something that I would a game that I wanted to play, not
Mm,
during that time, but something that I wanted to play on a different time. Because at the same time, I think it was competing with who said someone mentioned it in the comment section. I think
Forza
it was
Horizon or Gran
Need for
Turismo? Mhm.
Need for Speed is what I was
Need for Speed,
going
yes.
for. Yeah, it
Yes.
was my go-to game. I love the NFS better than the other thing, the competition. But the crew is one of the best things that ever did happen. I was only able to play it probably, I don't know, less than 40 hours.
Mhm.
So I had less time for it. But it really is good. With regards to collections, Jason would be able to prove how many cartridges, how many CDs, DVDs, what do you call the yeah, cartridges for the Sega, for the Game Gear, the Sega Game Gear.
Mhm.
I forgot what the small things for Nintendo was, the 3DSs, everything.
Oh,
We
game cards.
yeah, the
Yeah,
game
the game
cards.
cards. I'm more of a collector in those parts. I would rather have them physically rather than have them um digitalized, because as Raj mentioned, it's better if you're able to go back to it. No need to download it. Just pop it in, turn on your console, anything. You'll be able to play it. No updates needed. No additional information. Just go ahead and play it. I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, so Michael likes going in dry. Anyway, so
There's nothing wrong with that. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong
you
with
don't
going
need to
dry. You
blame.
got to go in. You know,
there you
Yeah,
go.
nothing wrong.
there.
You need that
Well,
friction. You know, you need it.
along with that, there are times for cartridges. Of course, you need to blow it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There you go. Michael, it
No,
sounds like he
that's
fits
wrong with.
perfectly into our culture. There you go.
There you go. I think no, I think you're absolutely right in regards to the ability to go back and play a game is really good. You know, I think that there's something wonderful about just plug and play, and there's something wonderful. Retro. I think the reason we're having this problem now with physical is the games have become graphically very, very, very high in memory in terms of the graphics are so great now. It requires a lot of memory, and that physical media has a cost to it. And then they wonder, is the gamer going to pay that? And okay, fair enough. Like we'll pay for the hard drive on our systems and download it, but if you've owned the game, like you should be able to re-download it again once you've had to delete it to make space for another game. They should let us have rights to get it for limited eras. Because these game companies are making billions, they're making loads of money. They can afford to like look after our accounts. They can
Let me
afford that much.
let me interject a little bit here. We have Kurt Labrado on the chats. Hey Kurt, he put up a very good argument here. Actually, he says lots of MMORPGs and MOBA are not here anymore. MOBA are massively online battle
Arenas.
arenas, something like that. Precisely. Thanks very much for that. The idea, though, is that with MMORPGs and MOBAs, there's a slight difference. With a game like The Crew, you are buying the ownership. You felt like you were buying the ownership of a game that you wanted to go back to over and over again, anytime that you wanted. Kurt you're presenting MMORPGs and MOBAs, you know you're playing it for the experience. You know in your heart of hearts that you don't own a game like Guild Wars or World of Warcraft or Mobile Legends. You don't own that game. You're
Yeah.
paying for the experience of playing it, and you know it in your head and your heart that you don't own it. You're playing it for the experience. Whereas a game like The Crew Calling All Units, you bought a
Bought it.
physical copy of it. You own it, but the developer or the publisher arbitrarily says, "Fuck you! You don't get to play the game that you paid for anymore, that you thought that you owned." And that is the biggest issue that I have with this one.
See,
Now,
he brings up a good point saying MMOs, and then
Yeah.
the way you said, you buy a certain game and you think,
yes,
you're just buying the experience. You're not going to own that game forever.
Mhm.
Where it becomes a problem, and I talked about this on our pet peeves episode,
Mhm.
is when you make a franchise, you make a game in the franchise that's numbered and it's an MMO, like Dragon Quest X,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Final Fantasy 11, and
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 14.
Mhm.
Years from now, someone's going to be like, "Hey, I want to play all the Final Fantasy games." They're going to get to 11 and be like, "What the fuck? Like, I can't play this one?"
Online only. Yeah.
Yeah. And same thing like that. The Final Fantasy 11, you can't. It came out on the PS2. You can't play it on the PS2 anymore. They shut those servers down. It came out on the Xbox 360. They shut those servers down. You can't play that anymore. The only way that it's playable is on PC, and that's not going to be forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, they should have just called Final Fantasy 11 Final Fantasy Online, and then
That's
Why the hell did they do
exactly.
like you think, oh, Final Fantasy
Why
11.
the fuck did they number it?
Yeah, it messes up your OCD, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes, I was like, and then they did it again with 14. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys thinking?
Mhm. Exactly.
They just want to mess with you. That's what they want to do. They want to mess with you, man.
Mhm. I want to hear from Joe. He expressed an opinion earlier that kind of fits perfectly in with our current discussion. Because you expressed your opinion earlier about the ownership of it, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts
express all over us.
on it? Well, please don't. Anyway.
Get the tarp. Okay.
Okay.
Nice zone. All right. I remember Sergio playing The Crew when he, one of his streams,
Yes.
and I was amazed on how it looked. Okay, and one of the things that he did mention, like maps, amazing, massive. Like you can
Oh.
drive from one place to another, from one state to another. And I remember, I think I asked him, okay, like, can you really drive from coast to coast? And he did say yes, right? Question would be, can you really drive from coast to coast in real time, or like there's a
Oh,
time
no, no,
lapse
no,
of
no.
that?
It's shortened basically. If you travel New Jersey, you don't get to visit every single town, but you will still
There you
travel
go.
through a lot of the territories of New Jersey, and it'll feel like you are traveling through New Jersey. So,
Okay.
Jose's mention of 40 minutes from end to end, that's basically it. If 40 real time minutes, you will get. It's the fact that you feel like the map is that massive and that it feels like you're actually there. It's a real place based on a
Right.
real place. So that's kind of like how it feels. Yeah, that's how it kind of feels like. Joe, go ahead.
Like, does it? So not all of the sites are there. So like
No.
portions of it. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Um. So I did watch Sergio play this, and then and then I also remember the day when the news broke out that the cruise has shut down. I remember him blowing up a gasket,
Oh yeah.
and what and at that time it became one of those defining, not really defining moments, but it's one of those days that we really excuse me. So we really did advocated the use of physical media,
Yes.
and how video game companies like Ubisoft just for some reason or another. Because the only reason I would think of why they would have done this at the first place was, well, like what? Do they have like a very limited number, or at
Yeah.
least a very small number of gamers playing this game? That's why, oh, it's not worth it.
Yes.
That's the only thing I can think of why they pulled the plug on this game.
Mhm. Well,
Like,
they did because of the fact that they were already producing the Crew 2, and it was the same large map, but for lack of a better word, it felt less alive. Because they were concentrating on a, I guess the right word for it, Jose's Motorfest type of style, because they saw how successful Forza Horizon became, where it was based on a contest all across Australia, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And this one, though, in the way that the Crew was done, the Crew 2 was done, they made it so that it is a series of contests all across the United States. You didn't feel like you were participating in an action driving movie anymore. You felt like you were there for a contest, and it felt less alive, the map there with the Crew 2. But a lot of gamers shifted over. They wanted gamers to shift over to the Crew 2, and there were less and less players on the Crew 1, online players, and that's why they said, oh, it's not profitable for us to keep the Crew 1 alive anymore. We're just going to have
There
them
you
shift
go.
over to the Crew 2.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I understand the business logic of it, because you want to keep the money flowing and you want the money generated. But the fact is, you sold a product that gamers might want to come back to in the future, because of the fact that it has monuments. There are 250 something different monuments all over the United States you can visit. There's different activities that you can do. There's different scenes that you can visit. My dream of visiting all 50 states of the United States and seeing all the different sites, I can actually vicariously do it here in this game. I might not be able to do it anymore in real life because I'm old and I've got gout, but yeah, I can still do it here in this game, and I
Mm.
can do that on the Crew too, but it's less vibrant, it's less beautiful, it's less interesting as a map compared to the Crew 1. So yeah, that's
So what
basically
I'm
my.
getting here is
Mhm,
that Ubisoft had expectations,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, say
but
you,
they got
because I noticed
results
people have
right.
been saying Ubisoft wrong. Yeah, it's Ubisoft, not Ubisoft. All right,
Okay,
Ubisoft. All right, but please
okay,
continue.
okay, Ubisoft,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what my wife called me during our honeymoon.
Right.
Okay. All right. Oh, we have a question here coming from Sir Kurt, and everyone here in the panel must answer.
Mm.
Sir Kurt asks, there are MMORPGs with CD
Mm.
installers given away for free. So would those count since you have a physical copy?
They count
Jose.
as a memory. They count as a good memory, Kurt. Honestly, because of the fact that I used to work in a company called Mu Online. Mu Online. We had a company that had a massively multiplayer online game called Mu Online. I gave away those discs like crazy, and those serve. But we knew even back then that you're here. These discs are here because of the fact that it's an experience. It's the game itself is the disc itself is basically a key to be able to get into the game, for you to be able to
You
experience
could have
it.
you could have
It's,
kept
it's
your
like
disc.
those free America Online discs that
I
they were
mean, yeah, but, I mean, you can. They have value. I mean, you could cut into the discs and use them as shurikens, man. They have value. Where are you throwing them away from, man? You know, they have some sort of usage. You know,
Mhm. But
Sir
yeah,
Mike, Sir Jason,
Crossbow Shinobi.
you know these,
Jason, were you there during the times that we were giving away discs for MMORPGs way back when?
especially
I'm with
Ragnarok.
Michael.
Sorry, what, Jason?
Yeah.
I'm with Michael
Oh,
during
you
that
were
time.
with Michael. You were hanging around with Michael back then. You guys were there during that time.
Um, sorry. Yeah, I'm actually a Ragnarok fanboy.
Oh, there you
So
go.
since
Ragnarok
2003.
Online. Yes.
So yeah, multiple CDs, multiple game patches.
Mm,
They gave away um CDs if there were any big patches, so that you don't have to
mm,
even download it just to save some memory for some people,
Mm.
of course.
mm.
So they gave it away on what's that? I forgot the net net cafe in the Philippines.
Netopia.
Yeah, Netopia.
Netopia
It,
was
it-
that, yeah, that
yeah,
tremendous network of cyber cafes. Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
probably the biggest and the shittiest cafe that you have ever seen in the
Yeah.
Philippines. It's so big. It's they have shitty PCs.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were.
Agreed. Yeah.
But
It's what
yeah,
we got. It's all we got.
but
All
yeah, it's
right.
the best thing that we ever had. But it's
hmm
again, it's their PCs
Although,
are not that bad.
yeah,
Not that
to
bad.
answer Kurt's questions, would those count since you have a physical copy? They would count as a piece of your childhood and your memory.
True.
You do understand, though, that you are not going to be able to go back and play it anymore. And that was actually kind of part of the social contract, shall we say, of getting that game. You knew that you were just keying into an experience. Whereas with a physical game, imagine a game like let's say, yeah, well, let's go to this classic example, Super Mario Brothers. If you bought a cartridge of Super Mario Brothers for your Nintendo Famicom, and one day you decided, oh, I'm gonna go on over and play Super Mario Brothers on my Nintendo Famicom, slot it in, and suddenly this message says, fuck you, you can't play this anymore, because
Mhm.
Nintendo says, even on your own console, on your own cartridge,
True.
it kind of feels like that. So yeah, that's basically it. hmm
How about Sir Jason? Taglish is okay.
Okay,
Your response to Sir Kurt.
and I'll translate for you.
I will do English.
Okay, go ahead. So yeah, the question is, what do you think about this situation that we're in? And
CD
no, no,
installers.
CD installers. Yes.
I I have a lot of receive see this loss when I'm study.
Yeah. When you were studying, yeah.
But
And
that but when
go
I
ahead.
play it, there is card a card. Ano yun?
Oh, the subscription cards.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
you need
Back in
to
the day,
you
yeah.
need to buy it before play it.
That's true. That's actually very true. Jason did mention it's not just a CD. You also had to pay for a subscription to be able to play an MMORPG back in the Philippines. Yeah, that's true. That's very true,
Yeah,
Jason. Yeah.
you need to buy it before before you play it the
hmm
game.
Yeah, that's very true. I think they came in denominations of 25, 50, and 100 pesos back then, right, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah, and you could only play for a certain amount of time based on the amount of money that you paid for in of that subscription card. That's true. Good memory, Jason. Thanks very much for that. All right.
All
Yeah.
right. So I believe Sir Eric also mentioned a particular game there. He
hmm
said that he used to work on Marvel Heroes Omega,
Oh. Oh yeah. Nice one.
and then the servers got then the servers went down, so everything else.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it has happened a lot of times in the past. A lot of games have died. A lot of platforms have died. It's just now gamers are realizing that hey, we're being shafted here, and it's not something that we're willing to stand for anymore. So yeah, that's basically where we're at. So I would say almost everybody's presented their game. The last person on the panel who has not given his game yet is Jason. Jason, what have you got for us? What dead game would you like for us to see that you enjoyed, that you played with, and might are hoping for a revival in the future, if it's at all possible?
It was in a browser game
Hmm.
in online. It was called Tetris Battle on Facebook
Browser game.
Gaming.
Okay. Tetris Battle for Facebook Gaming. Was it exclusively for Facebook Gaming?
Maybe. It's,
Uh-huh. Okay.
but
Tetris
the game
Battle.
but the game was launched around to maybe 2010 or 2011.
2011. Okay. And of course, everybody knows Tetris, but what's the difference between regular Tetris and Tetris Battle, Jason?
You, this version of all about head-to-head battles against friends or other players with
Oh.
modes like 1v1 battle arena and marathon.
hmm
It's let players rack up coins, gain experience,
hmm
unlock new power up, and climb the leader, leaderboards. But
Leaderboards, yeah.
but the main is smashing your opponents with garbage blocks in the duel
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, this
of
looks like fun actually.
strategy to
Hmm.
beat your opponent.
Okay, Joe is showing the footage of it right now. Oh, dang, this looks fast. I can't manage
It's
this
fast.
speed. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. Okay, and this Baruna Royka says 2011 to 2013. As far as I remember, Tetris Battle in Facebook. Oh, it was only on Facebook Gaming for those 2 years, Jason. Is that right?
Yes.
Ah,
But
dang.
it has a lot of cheaters there's too.
Mhm. Oh, okay. Oh, and this looks like a lot of fun actually. And sad to say it's not playable anymore. Is that right?
Yes, it's not playable anymore.
Oh, okay,
It's what
okay.
it was an the game is no longer supported in 2019 because
Hmm.
the mobile gaming took over.
Oh, I see, I see. I do remember a part in Facebook where it was labeled specifically as Facebook Gaming. And I do remember that there are a lot of games in there. I was surprised at the number of games that are in there. I didn't even know that this was there. Tetris Battle on Facebook Gaming. This looks like a lot of fun, actually. Hmm. Um, did you enjoy it, Jason?
Yes, I did enjoy it, but the opponent is very hard. It's
No,
very fast.
okay. Yeah, it looks like I might not even be able to handle a minute of this. How about you, Michael? Have you tried this game?
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, I was able actually I played this. I think this was big around 2012, 2013.
Hmm.
The biggest and the shittiest part of it is the T-spin because it's going to it's literally going to fuck up your game.
Hmm.
If people do the T-spin, yeah, it's going to be a lot of trash
On your board.
on your board. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Basically
Okay.
you're beaten alive in
Ah.
about 30 seconds or less.
Hmm.
And it's very fast paced.
Hmm. I like if Michael says that it's fast paced, I can't even begin to imagine being able to play this because I play Tetris a little bit for the Zen portion. For those of you who are familiar with Tetris Effect Connected, I love that game, Tetris Effect Connected, because of the fact that it's when you play it, it's very zen. The lots of new age music playing in the background and lots of different colors floating by. This looks like it's very competitive Tetris, and I can't handle this. Viraj, would you go for something like this?
No.
No.
Um, I mean, like, look, Tetris is a game that's been repackaged and resold on how many formats, how many times? Like, I remember,
Every
like,
single format.
I
Yeah.
mean, the DS Tetris was one of the better ones actually that Nintendo took over. But then you have like is Tetris 99, I think, on Switch now.
Oh
So you've
yeah,
got
yeah. Mhm.
so you have that, and there's just so many ways you can play Tetris. So I think this is a nice little feature you had on Facebook. You know, you could play a game with someone and whatever. So I suppose the fun with this is the multiplayer aspect. But
Yes.
I mean, for me personally, I'm a Pure Pop person. I prefer that as a combat.
Puyo Pop. Yeah.
Yeah, Pure Pop for me is just so much more fun, and it requires a bit more brain processing power than.
I'm surprised that you wouldn't have said columns.
Well, Columns was good when it came out, and it was a fun game. But I think they've made a few renditions of Columns, but I think Pure Pop is the successor to Columns as a puzzle game. And I
Okay.
think I think personally, it's the go puzzle block puzzling game ever. Personally, Pure Pop. It's huge in Japan, by the way. Puyo Puyo Sun, for example, there was a tournament when the Mega Drive Mini 2 came out, and they have huge Pure Pop tournaments. That's the one. Tetris is a global phenomenon, and I'm not going to down talk Tetris because it is simple and it's a lot of fun. It's more accessible than Pure Pop, that's for sure. But I prefer the complex nature of Pure Pop. That's more my cup of tea. But there's Pure Tetris as well, isn't there? That's come out.
There you go. That's what I was going to say.
You got the hybrid system. So there are so many block puzzlers out there. I don't think it's something that I'm going to miss. But I think those who had this and were playing it, of course they're going to miss it. That was their go-to. That was their cup of tea, and it's a shame that it's not accessible for them anymore. But to those people, I'd say there's other ways you can play this. There's other types of you can play.
Yeah,
So,
well, one thing that Jason and I would probably share is the fact that we used to play brick games back in the 90s. the gray LCD consoles, because of the fact that we had rolling brownouts in the Philippines where there would be 6 hours of no power at all. So you would pull out your brick game and you would just swelter in the heat and play through tons and tons of Tetris. Yeah. Jose, did you get to play this one?
No, I did play Facebook games, but this is one that I guess I just did never see. I was searching it up just because I was trying to see what it looked like, and actually came across this video. I'll put in the Facebook. It says how to download and play Tetris Battle on Facebook in 2024, and the video is actually in Tagalog.
There you go. There you go.
Just randomly, like,
Of course.
Of course.
it was like the first one that popped up. It was just, it was
yeah,
Of course.
we tend to be like that. The same way that
We tend to be like that.
Yeah, the same way that a lot of computer instruction videos have Indian guys narrating them. So, but anyway, all right.
Okay, so technically speaking, you can still play this.
Yes, technically speaking, it seems that you
Technically
still
speaking, you
can
can still play
with
this.
workarounds. With workarounds.
With workaround. Okay.
I would argue there are far more interesting games than this, man.
Yeah, that's a valid argument. That is a valid argument. Yeah, that's true.
True.
But yes, the fact is the nostalgia is speaking.
with good old fashioned Filipino ingenuity, you can still play this.
I remember there was this game that you mentioned that was a puzzler, but it was a bit pervy. We had it on these episodes, so Joe. I can't remember what it was.
That one, yeah. That was a very lively discussion, I have to say. Okay.
No, that was much more engaging than this thing could ever be.
It's called Opie Orbs.
That's it. Opie Orbs. That was
Opie Orbs. Okay. So looking at the video game footage right now, I would call this asshole Tetris. All right. So basically, if I'm getting this correct, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So two players, okay, and the idea is clearing out the most lines, and then like if there's one line that you clear, then that line goes straight to your opponent.
Yes.
As a gray area, causing his blocks to go upward. Of course, and
it's basically screw that other guy Tetris. Yeah.
screw the other guy, and vice versa, right?
Yes.
And looking at the footage right now, there's a certain strategy that you can do for those people who are watching. So you can pretty much like fill up the half of your space, and then once the vertical line drops, expect some chaos. Okay. Although,
Sorry,
it is fun and very competitive. Yeah, I can tell.
So
this is not Zen.
They've added on to a game that was very successful. It's simplicity. For those who haven't seen it, there's a Tetris movie that came out some years ago. It's really worth checking out, and it really won a lot of people over with the simplicity. It went on to be one of the highest grossing games of all time for the accessibility and simplicity of it. And I think this is a nice addition where you have the competitive mode where you add, once you lower the blocks and you add it and it moves to the other screen. However, this was something that was created in Pop. Pop was actually designed with that mechanic in mind where, once you get X amount of matching chains, okay, and it depends on how long the chain is of the little blocks. That's why it's a bit more complex and more highbrow than Tetris. And the more you get, the more damage you can do to the other player you're battling with getting clear bubbles, etc. That will block them from getting things. So much more complex with Pop. A lot more thought you have to put in there in a shorter space of time. I think Tetris is a lot more accessible to everyone.
Pretty much, yeah.
People who haven't got a lot more thought. So I can see this is... Tetris has been successful because of its simplicity. Let's just be blunt here. And I think... Okay, it's a shame that this particular variant out of the million that exist isn't available to play as easy anymore. But I'm sure... we'll probably find somebody preserving this or find a way to play it again. If you want to play
so how can we make Tetris even more frustrating? How about a two-player co-op battle? Okay, basically.
How about
it allows people to enjoy a game in a different perspective. It's nice that they've
Enjoy?
Well, I know you don't
Okay.
enjoy it because in no Oppo orbs or whatever, there's no like background, some kinky background that incentive. Like, if you get it to the
Yes.
back, you'll be rewarded with a nice little image.
Viraj is
Yes.
unfamiliar with some of our karaoke methods here. Jason,
Yeah.
Michael, and Joe. The fact that if you have videoke in this is a side tangent. We do have that where we have videoke, and you have basically striptease running in as a video in while you're singing. But anyway, to
The incentive
continue.
for Joe is if like he clears all the blocks, there'd be a nice, pretty babe there for him.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
incentive for him, and
I'd
I
play
get
that.
That's
I'd
what,
play that.
that he'll put himself through stress just to see that with his tongue out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's the motivation for him. He
That's
wants
true.
to
That's
see.
true.
He wants to see. He
That
wants
is
to
a
see.
motivation for me. Yes.
That's true.
That is
That's
right.
true.
But I bet it's most men out there. But I think you know
Mhm.
that those days are
Propose that idea, Viraj. It might make money.
well, on the Famicom disk system, there are a lot of these puzzle games like mahjong games, which are similar in that
Oh
way.
yeah, the mahjong types. Yeah,
So
that's true.
you
That's
have a
true.
lot of these sort of games which offer these sort of
Mhm.
lovely images of bodacious babes in
Mhm.
certain outfits or no outfits at all that you want to see, and that was the incentive for you to get through it. What
Mhm.
more of an incentive is there for a red-blooded male to play this sort of game if you're going to be rewarded with something
That's
like
true.
that? So
That's
I
true.
get it, but you know, on the subject of this particular game, you know, it's no great loss. It's not no great loss of video game kind if we can't play it again, as far as I'm concerned.
That's true.
But,
But in Jason's case, since he presented the game, it means something special to him. And again, the nostalgia factor is there. The fact that these games mean something to different people. Every
Yeah.
different game that has been presented means something very different and very special to every person that presented it. And with that in mind, I want to hear Joe's choice of dead
All right.
game.
All right. So I'm going last. Here we go. Watch out. Okay. So, when we did our puzzle episode, this was the first game that I wanted to present, and then, however, I did find out that you can no longer play this game anymore, unfortunately. So I went to Opie Orbs instead. But if
Yeah.
this game was available at the time, I would have played a lot more of this game. Okay, and Severaj knows this game too. It's called Sega Heroes. All right, Sega
Right.
Heroes for the came out for the Android and the iOS. Okay, so what's this game is all about? All right, so imagine all of the Sega IP, the first party Sega characters in one game, like a massive crossover game. You think Marvel versus Capcom was lit? This is another one. Okay, so imagine you got characters from Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, Jet Set Radio, Super Monkey Ball, Valkyria Chronicles, Shenmue, Altered Beast, Choo Choo Rocket, Virtual Fighter, House of the Dead, Crazy Taxi, Fantasy Star, even freaking Yakuza. Okay, all of them all across the universe in one video game, mobile game. For some reason, they could have released it as a console game, but no. Okay, it's called Sega Heroes. All right. This was a match 3 puzzle game. Okay, an RPG with RPG elements, as you can see there in the video game footage that we're showing you right now. So, for what I can tell, okay, so I didn't play this game per se. However, just by watching some YouTube videos, it kind of looked like fun, really. So, for what I can understand, so you can play maximum of 4 characters, okay, and each of them is corresponding to one color. So you got these you got these puzzles, okay? So imagine Candy Crush, right? Different colors. You got your red, blue, yellow, green, and all that. So let's just say Sonic is blue, obviously, and you got Tyrese from Golden Axe. Let's just say because she's fire element, so she's red.
And you say
Okay.
Tyrese? Her name's Tyrese. Tyrese is
I'm sorry.
Tyrese.
Tyrese, goddamn it. Maybe
My name's
Tyrese.
Tyree. It sounds like some sort of, sound like some Afro American. I'm Tyree. Yeah, watch yourself. Don't drop no soap
All
in
right.
this. You know what I mean? Tyrese. All right, get the
Let's go.
names
So
right.
where were we?
Two
Okay, so
strikes.
all right.
Go.
Where are we? Okay, so basically, if you match three blue colors, then that means Sonic will attack. If you match three red colors, then Lady Tyree will attack.
Iris. Iris.
Tyrus. I keep
You're
calling it
right.
Tyrese. Tyrus. God damn it, Tyrese.
Emphasis
Pay
on the
some
first
respect. God
syllable.
damn it.
Yeah.
Pay some respect.
Tyree.
All
You
right.
call it Tyree,
So, so and if you manage to pull off like 4 or 5 or 6 matchups, then you can pull off their special attacks. Okay. Each of them has their own special attacks, individual special attacks, depending on based on the video games that they represent. Okay. Um, I believe this game was developed by Demiurge Studios, published by Sega. This was back in mid 2018, I believe. And unfortunately, uh, it the lifespan of this game was like what 2 years only, because the studio that hosts the this game, the Merge Studios, went solo. So they became an independent video game company, and they took this game with them. Unfortunately, so
So sad.
if this game came, personally I've slept on this game. If I knew this game was a thing back then, I would have played this. This is one of those kind of games that you would like to play like while you're in the train, or when the wife is shopping or your girlfriend is shopping, and you're just sitting there idle, or waiting on long lines. You can practically play this. There's no You don't have to follow like a storyline, like an in-depth storyline. Uh, you can easily just grind as much as possible. And this game also has its own flaws. Unfortunately, one of the things that people had problems with this game is that not all of the characters are pretty well leveled, or at least played the same in as much as, like, for example, there are certain characters here that you'll have a certain advantage if you pay for them, not
Yeah.
unlock them. You have to pay for them. And well, of course, if you pay for them, then that means they're good, right? And unfortunately, there's also a PvP, a player versus player mode in this. So, for example, if Sir Joel and Sir Viraj is playing this game against each other, and these guys have money, okay, if both of these
Who
guys
says?
bought if these guys bought all of the premium characters, then shit, then us cheapskates have no chance of beating them, really,
Mm.
Well,
because
the,
you
the whole
either
point is
pay
you meant to give them some money, innit? I mean, how are they going to make money on this game if you're not going to pay for it?
yeah. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the main problem with most of the players who did this game, who played this game, because they were hoping that at least by doing some grinds, they can access some of the good characters. But no, you have to pay for all of them.
Well,
Unfortunately,
nothing's for free, man. Come on, man. You got to pay some money.
I don't know. I mean, these guys. Okay, for all of you guys, don't listen to this guy. He has money, so he doesn't
No,
understand the
hang
problem.
about. They've put money in developing this thing. They've had to promote it. They've had to, there's obviously the reason the developer is that I've pulled it is because they had to pay license to Sega. They didn't want to pay no license to Sega because they were cheap bastards. And the reason they were cheap is because people like you wouldn't want to pay for the flipping thing. It all
Well,
goes
that's the
down.
thing,
Money has to
though.
come from somewhere.
That's the thing, though. The model there is that you either pay money up front or you grind it out, and you're being shown ads, and the
Yeah.
advertisers are the ones paying you to advertise their products to whoever is grinding out the game. So they're supposed to be making money one way or the other. I imagine the cost has become a little bit too much for them to license out the games as versus the amount of money that they get from people paying for
Adverts.
it and the adverts. Yeah. Mhm.
There's got to be money. I mean,
Again,
there's not money in mobile
don't pay
gaming.
attention to this guy over here. Okay,
Listen,
because he
you're
has
just
money.
tired,
He
man.
can afford all of this
Tired
characters.
shit, man. Just get
Back
some-
in the day, he can
get
afford
some
all of
money,
this. He has no problems. Okay,
Spend
so
some
he's
money,
chastising all of us because we're being so dirt poor. Okay.
No, I'm not, this is about poverty here, man. The game, like I'm saying, this is not. Look, listen. Let's be blunt here. You can afford a few pennies, yeah, for an upgraded character. In fact, mobile gaming is the cheapest form of gaming, and
that's
you're
true.
even cheap to spend on an upgrade on a character. Give me a break, man. In
That-
India, mobile gaming is the biggest thing going because people are poor in that country, and they're
Actually,
happy to-
Viraj makes a very good point. One of the biggest earners in terms of gaming nowadays, and gaming is
Yeah.
huge as an entertainment industry right now. It
Gaming,
dwarfs the movies, the music industry. It dwarfs television. Video gaming has made a lot of money, and at the forefront of that is people spending on mobile games.
Mobile gaming is big. It's huge. The biggest.
And this is why I said these two as my examples. Okay. All right. Thursday, what can you, Thursday,
could
what
afford
can you
this
tell about the
game.
game? Go.
Okay, let's hear what Jose has to say.
Okay, I actually played this.
Oh,
I
did
downloaded it day one.
There you go.
It was fun. It was, you know, like everything Joe was saying is basically it. You know, it's a match 3 type game. But honestly, it didn't hold my attention because I played it for like maybe that first month, and then I was just like, man, I'm gonna play something else because there's tons of games like this coming out all the time. I remember there was a Doctor Who game too that came out that was literally the same thing, but it was just Doctor Who skin, and I was excited for that.
Yeah,
And literally, I played it for 2 weeks, and I was like, let's go on to the next thing.
there's probably a Walking Dead version or something.
Yeah,
like that.
there's
so
stuff.
many of these, and it's only if you're a Sega fan and you have such a sentiment towards those characters. You know, Joe Musashi as Shinobi, Axel from Streets of Rage, you got Sonic, and it's only if you're in love with Tyrese or whatever would you want to play this game. I think there are so many games that have cloned this kind of style of game. Like, it looks quite simple, to be honest. It would hold my attention because I'm a Sega man. But, like, come on, man. There are better games I'd want to play instead of this, personally. But what I'm disgusted with is, like, you know, it's not... It's a case of you can either pay the game up front and buy it, and that's just you on your phone, or you can get the game for free and rely on ads to fund it if you're a developer, or people buying the upgrades for your character within the game to actually unlock the actual features of the game. So there's two ways of doing it, and if you don't do it and they're relying more on ads and the ad revenue just isn't enough to actually, you know, make it worth the investment, why not just pull it? What's the point? You know, it's not worth paying for it being on the Android truck or whatever if it's just not making the money. And I think that's what's happened is after a while, they're not making the money anymore. Why even host this game? Let's just be done with it and just cut our losses. And that's what's happened with this game, sadly. Because people like Sir Joe are cheap anyway.
Yeah, around the same time, they had another game come out that was Sega themed. It was Sega Slots, and it was a slot machine game. And every slot machine was a different Sega IP. And it lasted like maybe a year or two, same thing, and then it was just gone. And I thought that was more fun than this.
Although I think this is more running on the Bejeweled type of formula, the Match 3, which, let's be fair, is pretty popular. Candy Crush, that cake game that was featured here in the Timeless Gamer Show one time. But yeah,
let's not forget Sega bought Rovio, who own Angry Birds. So Sega.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're looking to expand in the mobile realm because they know there is money in it. They just they just know Rovio are really good at doing it, and this is back in 23, so that's 2 years ago. So they may continue pumping out some even better games coming out on Android or mobile on Apple side of things. But you know, they spent like 776 million buying Rovio, so you know they were serious about it. That's some serious money they spent buying Rovio.
I would imagine Sega would have released something like because there were games like Project X Zone, with the 3DS, and something called the Cross Edge for the PS3. Now those are basically crossover JRPG games as well. And if Sega could have just right. If Sega could have just went ahead with something like this concept and then make it like an actual RPG.
Sadly, people like us,
nice.
I mean, I look at some of the decision making Sega have made, and it just drives me mad. It makes me want to pull my hair out. Like, why? Like, these are great ideas, and I find that the fan base of Sega know what they want. It's like, does Sega even want to listen to them? And that breaks my heart. It really does, with all the decisions they made, and it frustrates me being a Sega fan. Like, why are you doing this? Why have you made this decision? Why are you doing this? It drives me bonkers. I know they're looking at the business side of things, but I think they're looking at it too much. I think they also need to look at what people want to buy. If you build it, they will come. Sega, make some good stuff already. Come on, we've done a great job with this thing. You know, I think they were listening on this one, but it just baffles me like how they failed to follow through on some of the other ideas that people want. You know, and
They had a lot of very good first party.
they have
IP.
a huge IP, and
Really?
Sega,
Compared to Nintendo, personally, compared to Nintendo, I prefer the Sega lineup too.
well, there you go. So why
And-
is Sega, President
yeah.
of America, is saying, "Oh, we don't want to be seen as a retro company"? Excuse me, Sega. Your retro is what makes you. It's the fact that you've made those great killer apps on Mega Drive era, Saturn, and going forward, and you haven't revisited those and brought them a new face of life. The reason Nintendo has been successful is because they actually looked after their IPs, generally speaking. Why don't you? And why don't you embrace your
Why
retro
don't
and
you?
bring it to a modern flair? Why don't you? And that's what drives me nuts with Sega, which is, what is wrong with you? Like, I know you want to try new things, great, but let's be honest here. You guys are broke, and your best years are behind you. So why not just
Okay, it
No.
all comes down to money again. All right,
Anyway.
Sir Mike, any opinions about what the game looks like to you?
Well, for me, oh, sorry, am I on mute? No.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Well, yeah. Basically, this is something that I would play if I were just bored. It's something that it looks good. I love the IPs. Everything is there. Every character that I actually played with when I was a kid. That sounds so bad. Um, uh,
Most likely, yes. You got Sonic, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, and Shinobi. Yes.
yeah, everything that
Street of Rage, God
that
damn
I
it.
saw as a kid. Streets of Rage, of course. Jason and I played those as kids. We've got Shinobi. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog there. I think they've. I'm not sure if I saw Knuckles as well, but
Yep,
we've got
Knuckles is
Egghead.
here.
We've got Doctor Robotnik or whatever you might want to call him. So it's good. It's a good game. It's not really something that you would stick to play with for probably a month or two, but it's something that's going to be used to pass your time. It's really something that like a quick game that you
pass it.
just want to play for it. Yeah, just a
There you
big
go.
pastime.
Sir Jason, thoughts? Sega Heroes.
I play it on Android. It the Sega Heroes is like a puzzle quest to me. It's
Puzzle
just
Quest. Yes, that's true.
elements effects on the game.
hmm Yeah, that's true. That's true. Jason hit it on the head. It is basically Puzzle Quest,
Yeah,
except with a Sega skin on it. Yep, that's true.
it's just
Yep,
just like
that's it.
puzzle quest to me.
Alrighty. That's the show, guys. Over 2 hours for this one. And let's just go on ahead with our shameless plugs before we end the show. Before that, final thoughts, conclusions. Sergey, go.
Everyone's games are very interesting. It's cool that some of them, like Sir Joel's choice, is coming back in a way. Virage, I did Google, and there's a certain way. There is already a way to play Super Mario 35. And then just to bring up some other games really quick, Defiance was a MMO game that had a TV show tie-in. A company bought the license for it, and they revived that game, so that's back on PC. Mega Man X Dive was an iOS Android game with Mega Man, basically like all Mega Man and every variations playing kind of in a Mega Man X style. It was server dependent. They made an offline version. You can buy that now. And then apparently they made an offline version of Dragon Quest X. The developers have said that they're very interested in making an offline version of Final Fantasy XI. So hopefully we'll see that one day. And then if you guys haven't played it, even though a lot of people didn't like it, Anthem goes away in January. So
Anthem?
yeah.
All right, whatever, man. Okay.
Also, Viraj likes men. No.
There you go. All right. There it is. Alrighty. So Joel, where can they touch your grass?
All right. So you can find me streaming on Kick, on Twitch, on Rumble, hashtag FUFB because, copyright strikes. But yes, my final thoughts on the matter, stop killing games. There's a tremendous number of games that are not playable in their original states anymore. There's a tremendous number of platforms that died in the past because of the fact that the developers do not support it anymore. History is littered by corpses of games that we just can't reach anymore with the technology that we have. Heck, our laptops don't even have CD drives anymore, and a lot of the CDs that we have, we won't be able to play as a PC gamer. So yes, there has to be a way for us to be able to preserve the games that we like, that we enjoyed, that we experienced throughout. Sure, I understand that the developers have their costs, their margins, their profits to think about, and that's perfectly fine. But find a way to make sure that the people who have bought your game, that you are not antagonistic to them to the point that you are not going to be allowing them to play the game that they bought if they put in their own efforts to it, because of the fact that own they understand that they own that game the way that they bought it. And if you're going to kill your server, patch it, send out an offline patch, whatever. You guys have that capability. If the community can do it, then we absolutely know that you yourselves can do it yourselves, because you guys did that during the development time. You guys did patch it to yourselves. You guys have single player modes so that you can test it yourselves. Find a way to make sure that the gamers who bought your product can still enjoy it the way that they want it in the future. That's my message to you developers, to you publishers, to whatever guys who own the license to it. We know that you guys have that capability, but gamers are sick and tired of not owning what they paid for. But yeah, check out us here in Timeless Gamer Show. And I completely forgot, we also have this brand new platform called Streamer.live, STREAMR.LIVE. I stream there as well. It's a very light, very minimalistic, very quick way to stream. And you might want to give it a try if you're looking to be the next Pokemon or to be the next Dr. Destruction, or whatever that guy is called. If you guys want to try your luck and see if you have what it takes to be the next big streamer, streamer.live, STREAMR.live is the way to go. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. So Viraj, where can they touch your grass?
I just want to touch very quickly because there's a comment in the section there where he said Sega have pennies again. I'm not sure why they're not pushing to complete anymore. The reason they're not is because they've basically cancelled they had a shooting up game called not shoot 'em up, but it's a first person shooter game called Hyenas, which they cancelled back in 23, and that was a huge black hole for Sega. So Sega really are struggling now because they've got a game that was halfway or good proportion through, but actually it was done, but they pulled the plug because they knew it would flop even worse, so they just didn't release it in the end. So yeah, that's why Sega are in a bit of trouble because of that reason. That's unfortunate. Anyway, where can you find me? I'll be trading at the the Nottingham Gaming Market tomorrow for those of you in the UK who aren't even watching me here, but I'll be doing my trades there. But you can also follow me on my X account, which is Bygone Games UK, if you want to follow me there. See all my new pickups that I buy and sell there. You also find me roaming on the Sega Genesis group on Facebook. And of course, you can find me here on this channel where I do try to come, as often as I can. But, that's that. So that's me in a nutshell. My final thoughts on this whole topic, generally speaking, in terms of keeping games, from dying. It's a tough one because really it comes to the point of really you guys at home voting with your wallets. Really, I mean, I don't think I could ever buy a Ubisoft game again. Ubisoft game again because of what they've done. And there are certain ethics you'll say, okay, I want this game or this game. Then you'll buy it physical. You'll know that that's going to happen. And that's just the other way around it. That being said, whilst there are a host of games which we can't access anymore, there are so many games behind us that we can. There's a whole backlog of them. There you go. That's my thoughts on
All
it.
right.
It's on X, not on OnlyFans, and it's got BY Games on X.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Games. There you go.
We need some more women on this podcast, man. The ladies are
I
gone.
completely agree. I completely agree.
We agree. Yeah. I mean, someone is not completely bi. That's just basically a gay guy casually sexing up a girl.
Actually, let me make the call to the audience. If you guys know of anybody who is interested in talking about video games of the feminine persuasion,
Feminine persuasion.
yeah.
Because we've got some feminine persuasions in this bloody panel as it is.
Fine. Okay.
We need some estrogen in this show.
Yes,
So
we
that's
do
so
need some
feminine.
estrogen. Okay. Please refer them to us. We do want to hear the points of view of not just ourselves, but also of the other side in terms of gender, because we want to hear what the women think. They might be able to bring in something interesting into the discussion.
They always do. They always do.
They always do. And besides, cross-dressing only goes up so far.
Yeah, I mean, this guy down here, goodness me, he's the most feminine guy we got here.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm the most feminine guy in here. Alrighty, got man boobs. So, Michael, where can they touch your grass?
Sorry, what about that?
Yeah, go ahead, Michael. Where can they find you? Where can they touch your grass? And do your final thoughts.
All right. Well, final thoughts. Everything. This is actually for first time podcast. This has it's a good talk for me. I love it. You can find me always on Facebook. I've got Twitch. I've got Kick. It's either Zerot or Tornab. It's almost the same as Tornab except with the T, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I got Kick. I've got YouTube. Everything else. But my favorite, of course, favorite lurking spot, of course, is currently just on Facebook, just because.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah. That's all for me. That's all I have.
All right, and
All
Jason.
right.
Thank you.
You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, Kick, and Twitch. Just type my name Jay Sion
Mhm.
on the search bar.
Search bar. Mhm.
Search bar. Yes.
All right, there you go. J-Zion. Check out his page. Check out his streams. Make sure that you subscribe to his page. Excellent streamer, Jason, right there. All right.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for that, everyone. And of course, Sir Jose, where can they touch your grass?
You can find me on all social media platforms and all gaming platforms as Dark Gothic Fate. Everything is the same. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. You want my Switch friend code? You have to DM me for that.
No one's
Alrighty. Thank you for that, Sir Jose. Now, it is rather sad when video games just suddenly gets the axe, and it kind of reminds me of it's not just about the players but the developers as well. One particular story is Sir Joel might know this guy, Warren Robinette, the guy who made Adventure for the Atari 2600, because of Atari's business practices back then. They don't really credit their developers. It's just Atari, so they never accredited their developers. And for example, if you invest all of your time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears on a particular game, you worked on it, you're part of the team who made it, and then suddenly the company says, "Oh, no, we're shutting it down," then it's like that's your legacy in a way. That's the proof that you worked on something, and that's a proof of your life, a piece of your life in there. Suddenly, the company is just denying you of that sense of existence. You know what I mean? and it's really sad when games are no longer accessible in or any way. I'm not even sure if there will come a time when all video games, whatever the media, you can there's a repository of them. I believe the U.S. Congress has their own like a video game library. Like for every video game out there, there's a copy in the U.S. Congress library that goes straight in there. But of course, that's only U.S. So, and there are games outside of the U.S. being developed. What I'm trying to say is like there should be like some way of these games can be preserved. Archive.com or is it archive.net or .com?
.org, if I remember
.org.
correctly.
.org. Yeah,
Mhm.
they can only go so far.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it's not
and
games on that, so yeah.
right, and I also have I also have a certain website that carries some of these games, but I'm not gonna disclose it here because
Mhm.
Nintendo might be listening.
They will.
And because I looked for the games that Sir Viraj mentioned with the BSX, and unfortunately they don't carry those.
No, they don't. That's
Mhm.
why.
So unless there's a very committed fan base or a community
There is.
that
I'll have to
will
look. I'll have to find it again because I found it and I've lost
Yeah.
it. It was 2 years ago. So
Right.
even that's memory lost in my head. But I will find it
Right.
if I contact. Listen, I can find it because I believe I can. I don't believe they're in a lose-lose situation. I'm like Kirk in the Kobe.
they
Bryant.
are there.
Find it.
All right.
I
I
will
mean,
find
they,
it.
right.
they are out,
And
there, guys. They
yeah,
are
and
out
I hear
there.
and here I thought Viraj was gonna sing "I Believe I Can Fly" or something like that. You
I
know.
believe
Anyway.
I can fly. There must be a way. There's got to be a way.
There
I
must
don't
be a
believe
way.
in losing. I'll find it because there's stuff where I've given up on things and I've discovered a way. So there must be a way of getting this stuff. Anyway, we'll
Right.
find it.
All right.
Anyways, we'll find
And
it.
that's the
So
show.
that's again. All right, that's the show, guys. timelessgamers.com. And if you got any messages, suggestions, comments, or whatever, send it to timelessgamers.show@gmail.com. Timelessgamers.show@gmail.com. Alrighty.
Great.
And of course, our thanks to BitMap Books and Streamyard. If you're wishing to have your own podcast, webinars, online classes, check out StreamYard.com using our link down below at the description box. And of course, if you are into video games and reading books and their history, then check out BitMap Books using our link down there so you can help the Thomas Gamer Show. Show us the love. Alrighty. And that's the episode, guys. Thank you all so much once again. And our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey,
Timeless.
Timeless.
All right. Enjoy the weekend, guys. See you again next week. Enjoy the games. Bye
Bye,
now.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.